is believing if I can't pray. I wanna be the hunter, not the hunted. I wanna live one more day. Can't take much more, constantly repeating every single beat I felt before. Every single time I hit that wall, crystal bodies hold me tight. Yes, I'll fall into the night, oh, just for a chance to see the light. Oh, give me a chance to see the light. Human disease, I'm gonna fall to your knees. Fake it till it washes fingers trace your skin, all your cliffs and peaks, and your hair, it flows like waterfalls. I wanna give some color back to your cheeks. fingers intertwine. And as you tell me you can't take it anymore, let our hearts and souls combine. Well, hell is knocking at our door. Mermaids sing to me, he don't love you like I do. He won't take your pain away. You know it's true. I wanna see you smile, wanna see you cry. Oh, you're such a fool. We should get some bruises falling in love. 'Cause I love it when you're blue. Yeah, it's making me mad, knowing I can treat you better than he could. And your tears, they flow like waterfalls, and I don't think they should. Yeah, it's okay to smile, even if inside it's tearing you apart. No, he'll never love you in the way that I do. Why'd you go and give someone like that your heart? Mermaids sing to me, he don't love you like I do. He won't take your pain away. You know it's true. Yeah, I wanna see you smile, wanna see you cry. Oh, you're such a fool. We should get some bruises falling in love. 'Cause I love it when you're blue. Your blood runs blue. I still love you, and what am I to say? What was I supposed to say? Yeah, what am I to say? Just tell me what to say. What am I supposed to say? What am I to say? We threw it all away, and we're still blue. Pictures for the moment that we touched. Is there any better than this? just for the gap in your bruising. My mind just wasn't enough. Slow it down, make this moment last a year. Just please don't call it love. Flicking sheets and sketching the scene. All the strokes that you do. You were scarlet, I was still green. An artist through and through. Oh, confidence exude. Gotta love that attitude. Shut up and make me glad that I did this with you. I gotta know, maybe we should lose control. And maybe 'cause I got no soul. Baby, I'm in the zone. Make your move and watch the camera roll. Got another key frame to make me more. 'Cause baby, I'm in the zone. Muttering your name out, I'm stuttering. Mind goes blank, it's glorious. I gotta know. And it made me 'cause I got no soul. Baby, I'm in the zone. Make your move and watch the camera roll. Got another key frame to make me moan. Make it last, 'cause baby, I'm in the zone. Yeah, we should lose control. I'm a mess, so baby, I'm in the zone. Make your move and watch the camera roll. Staring through the lens, now each staying friends, you know. Baby, I'm in the zone. Your name out, I'm stuttering. Baby, I've been victorious. Well, it was just 5 guys on a night out. Oh, looks like they could box your lights out. Insatiable hunger, looking for the one they could take home right now. They're all getting salty. Wanna be solid, but they're just not fast enough. Wanna be that Mac Daddy, but this Game of Thrones is just too tough. You can't be the king if you taste like shit. The other 4 guys don't mind a bit. And these randy bob bandies are so demanding. Not the pap flap, but I'm still standing. Wendy's just another silly girl I knew, but those days are all long gone. If you were right the first time, then how could you be wrong? Oh, you're 23 years old now. Stick with what you know. The burger joint just down the road seems like the place to go. Oh, it's comfortable and inviting, and it won't tell you lies. Oh, man, bacon cheeseburger with those damn good fries. Well, I was just feeling kinda greasy. Back streets feels kinda sleazy. Prices hiked as high as your tights, and I can't help just feeling queasy. Thank God it's Friday. Said nobody ever as we all flew out the door, acting up like a Dairy Queen. And a Size queens always wanting more. KFC, more like JFC. I wanna try something new to me. In with excitement, out with scoff. This disappointment can fun right off. It might be fun, but I'll never shack. If I die before then, I'll have a heart attack. If there's never a first time, then how can I come back? Oh, you're 23 years old now. Stick with what you know. Burger joint just down the road seems like the place to go. Oh, it's comfortable and inviting, and it won't tell you lies. Oh, on that bacon cheeseburger with those damn good fries. Have your burger however you like. No, I don't mind. No, I don't mind. I'm just looking for the right one for me. Don't care how long it takes to find. However you like. No, I don't mind. No, I don't mind. I know she's the right one for me. Just to stress away from the daily grind. However you like. No, I don't mind. No, I don't mind. I'm just looking for the right one for me. Don't care how long it takes to find. However you like. No, I don't mind. No, I don't mind. I know she's the right one for me. Just to stress away from the daily grind. However you like. No, I don't mind. No, I don't mind. I'm just looking for the right one for me. Don't care how long it takes to find. However you like. No, I don't mind. No, I don't mind. I know she's the right one for me. Just to stress away from the daily grind. However you like. No, I don't mind. No, I don't mind. I'm just looking for the right one for me. Don't care how long it takes to find. However you like. No, I don't mind. No, I don't mind. I know she's the right one for me. Just to stress away from the daily grind. Something strange about that girl. The way she walks, the way she talks, it's like she doesn't realize. Could it be that she's a zombie? Must be mistaken, cause I can see the life in her eyes. It's a shame that she don't notice. You can't wear a thing like that when you're in your 20s, but she just carries on calmly, sipping out that cup from Wendy's. Suddenly it strikes me, what if no one's told her? What if no one's asked the question? What if no one's bold her? So I scream out, what's that PS2 doing on your head? And this is what she said. What the fuck did you just fucking say about me, you little bitch? I'll have you know I graduated top of my class in the Navy SEALs. I have over 300 confirmed kills, and I'm trained in guerrilla warfare. What's gotten into you? I don't see no PS2. No, seriously, what PS2? What? What is something there? What PS2? There's a spark in your eye and a grin on your lips. She's a demon and I can't resist her on a night like this. Say that you're fine, but I know that you're a wreck. There's a chill up my spine with your hands around my neck. Handcuffed to your side, and know that I can't leave. I'm fixated on asphyxiation, but without you I can't breathe. Ooh, you never say please. Might as well be deceased. Yeah, I'll make show the sticks, fall for all of your tricks. Oh, I gotta admit, I kinda dig crazy chicks. Tossing, turning, I run through your mind. You kill for me, yeah, you creepy when you're kind. You do so much for me, got me under your legs, yeah. I'm perplexed, I'm it all in your hands, and it's so, so plain to see. This must be a sign that I'm going insane. 'Cause you're on the right track with your knife to my back, and you're laughing inside my brain. Yeah, I can never say no. Your sanity's off the show. Yeah, I'll take all your kicks, the hi-hats and the clicks. It's another quick fix. You're trying to dig crazy chicks. You're trying to dig crazy chicks. We're trying to dig crazy chicks. Tossing, turning, I run through your mind. You kill for me, yeah, you creepy when you're kind. Could do so much for me. I'm a dog in your hands, and it's so, so plain to see. Yeah, I'm a dog in your hands, and it's so, so plain to see. Yeah, we're burning the midnight oil. Oh, we're kinda dig crazy chicks. She's got a fetish for fine art. Her penny socks and an oversized sweatshirt. Yeah, she goes right to my heart. She comes in like it with a stocking, and I get her. I get the feeling I'm in deep. In troubled waters, but they're only thigh high. This kind of girl don't get no sleep. Don't wake your father, slip the starters, strip those goddess. Oh my, oh my. Check a pattern on your skirt. I see you flaunting, see you taunting. It's so sickening. I can't resist the way you flirt. Yeah, I should be dead, but my heart beats quicker than I get the feeling this is more. It's an excuse just to shake your little derriere. That ratio a perfect score. Girl status is measured by a demi-air. Lie down, baby, I should bang now. Maybe you can help me get what I want. Grab your little spine and tell me that you're mine. It's all about the game and I'll watch you flown. Yeah, I know that there's no pleasing you when you know that you're not teasing me. She's an absolute terror for absolute territory. You're so highly contested, here's a tip. You should rename your thighs to the Gaza Strip. Yeah. That's it, baby, take control. You're so enticing, mesmerizing, don't know how to react. You're gonna steal my very soul. More manslaughter than the third impact, yeah. I see you strutting in that bleed. Double ticking, yeah, I'm shaking, you know it shows. This kind of girl just can't be beat. She whispers in my ear, take off your clothes.
Hear that? That's a little bit of a snap of a finger. Alright, let me go here. Hey, let me just take a little check how we're doing on this thing right now. 10 viewers. That's more than I've gotten in about a year, so that's good. 4 likes, alright. Chat seems kind of dead though. Can I get a yo in the chat from everybody? Let me get a yo. See you guys trickle in here. Let me take a look at my mic. There we go. We're on, yep. Okay. And then message deleted. We're gonna need an active chat for this one, guys. yeah, that's what I'm talking about. We're gonna need an active chat for this one, guys. This is a discussion. A discussion of sort of the best moments in the IDW Hasbro universe. And I have my list of moments I want to talk about, but and sort of do a dramatic reading of. That's exactly it. And some stuff I want to do like a dramatic reading of, so you guys get to hear me do terrible voice acting. But you know, I have some moments. There are some moments that I wanted to talk about that I forgot to put in my I have for example. If you guys know the IDW universe, you know the whole rewind thing, the whole Under Cold Blue Stars. We're going to be talking about that, and I got some pages I want to do sort of dramatic readings of. So that's sort of an example of what we're going to be doing. But I forgot a few of the moments. I can get rid of this clock right now. I forgot some of the moments I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about Thundercracker shooting the nuclear bomb out of the sky. The first time he got rid of a nuclear bomb in All Hail Megatron. When he sort of when he sort of left the Decepticons, because the Decepticons wanted to nuke New York City and destroy eventually humanity, and Thundercracker's like, I thought we were just supposed to conquer the world, not destroy the world. And then he got rid of the nuke, and then Skywarp came in and shot him in the face and called him a traitor. Let's see. I forgot. Thundercracker has a tendency to get rid of nukes, because he did that in International Incident too. I forgot, what else did I forget? I forgot another thing. Shockwave going from the senator, who's like the only good guy in the Senate, and then he gets like mind wiped and then gets redesigned, so he becomes the heartless scientist we know today. I forgot about the Shockwave part when I was putting in the moments I wanted to talk about. Let's see, anything else? I asked you guys what some of your favorite moments were. Let me scroll up. The first appearance of Unicron, just the sheer amount of terror. Unicron was really a disappointment to me more than anything. I think his design was cool, but that's about it, and that's the most superficial way I could enjoy something. Like, he looks cool. It doesn't really have the spirit of it. By the time Unicron appeared, I wanted the Transformers to die just because of how terrible the riders were. So Unicron didn't really have that impact on me. Megatron arrives to his monument in the Necro world for the first time. That's a good one. For those of you who don't know, there's this transformer called the Necrobot who goes around, I don't need my headphones. Who goes around, whenever a transformer dies, he keeps a list, and he has a planet called Necro World, where he sort of bases himself out of as he watches the universe and writes down every time a transformer dies. On that planet, he has statues of all these different Cybertronians, and by them are little flowers that are powered by the sparks of any transformer who I believe any transformer that statue is responsible for killing. So if you kill someone, transformers run on sparks, this sort of blue energy in their chest or whatever area. It depends on the transformer, but the Necrobot can take the last little bit of blue spark energy from your spark after you die, after he lists you out as a dead person, and he puts it in a flower and puts it by the person who killed you. Megatron, the Transformers eventually come to Necroworld, and Megatron comes to Necroworld, and he looks for his statue, and he finds his statue, and while some Transformers have, just a few blue flowers of the people they killed, Megatron goes to his statue, and it's just a massive field of blue flowers. That's a really good moment. I agree, that's a good moment. Let's see. Chat's still kind of dead. We really... For 10 people in here, which is really a full set for a Commander Radix stream. Okay, now it's lowered to 6. You guys enjoyed the the live at 8 screen more than you enjoyed the actual stream, but whatever. So let's see, we can talk about Spotlight Cliffjumper. Spotlight Cliffjumper was one of my personal favorite moments from the IDW Universe. And just a brief introduction to those who don't know the IDW Universe. IDW is a comic publishing company who got the rights to make Transformers comics in 2005. And so it started out in 2005-ish. One Transformers issue, Transformers Infiltration number 0, came out in 2005. And issue number 1 came out in 2006. So it just barely started in 2001. I don't know much about TF lore. All right, this isn't a stream geared necessarily towards anyone. Can enjoy this stream if they know what a Transformer is and if they know what a G.I. Joe is. I'm not going to go too in depth with continuity. What this is about cool moments, and I think anyone can appreciate cool moments. Good storytelling. This isn't necessarily a funny moment. This isn't a laugh you lose compilation. This is sort of moments that are emotional or written really well moments that I think about to this day. Even if the last year of IDW Hasbro Universe comics were bad, there was still so much I liked about the universe while it was around. But yeah, IDW made Transformer comics starting in 2005. They got the rights to G.I. Joe, I believe, in 2008. And then in 2016, they said, hey, our Transformer comics and our G.I. Joe comics are in the same universe. And then they also got some more Hasbro properties like M.A.S.K, Action Man, Micronauts, ROM, stuff like that. And it's all one universe now. Favorite moment of mine, More Than Meets the Eye number 5, when Ratchet used detective skills to realize Ambulon made the virus. Well, Ambulon didn't make the virus. Pharma made the virus. But that was a pretty good moment. That was on the planet Delphi. Ratchet, the Autobot medic, went to this planet. I do have a... Let's see. I do have a moment regarding Pharma, but we'll get to that later. But Pharma was this Autobot medic. Ratchet, the head Autobot medic, went to the planet that he was on and found that there was a virus going on where if you transformed to vehicle mode, what happened was they were infected with the virus when they were in robot mode. They didn't get any symptoms. They would transform into vehicle mode and they'd be fine, but once they transform back into robot mode, they start to crumble to dust. And Ratchet was investigating what was going on the planet and eventually found that the head medic, Pharma, had made a deal with a Decepticon named Tarn, who was the head of this thing called the Decepticon Justice Division, which is a, strong Decepticon unit, we kill people type thing. And their commander is addicted to transforming. Now, when you're addicted to transforming, Transformers have a transformation cog. They're a sort of engine device that helps them transform. But if you transform too much, the transformation cog sort of dies out. And if you lose your transformation cog, you're going to die. is one of the three core components of a Cybertronian. The cog, the spark, which we talked about, and the brain module. I forgot Pharma's name, so I put Ambulon instead. Favorite moment when Segotron died? Okay. What do you think of the human characters in IDW? For the most part, they're pretty... Like, all of G.I. Joe are human characters. I love the human characters in IDW. But eventually they find that the Decepticon Justice Division base themselves on the same planet as this Autobot medical outpost. The Pharma, who was in charge of the medical outpost, didn't want the Decepticon Justice Division just coming in and killing everyone, so he just decided to make this deal with them where he would, like, sort of accidentally not let a patient live, so he could harvest their transformation cog and give it to the Decepticon Justice Division leader. And then their desire for transformation cogs gets more and more, so eventually just unleashes this virus, and then Ratchet figures that out. That is a good moment. Alright. So, Spotlight Cliffjumper. I've made a video on this one before. You can look it up, Transformers Lore, Spotlight Cliffjumper, probably. But this was an early Transformers comic made, like in 2012-ish. 2011, 2012-ish. And, or 2009-ish, maybe. I can't remember. Somewhere in that range. Spotlights are a series that IDW put out where they just focused on one character. And in this case, you had this one Autobot named Cliffjumper, who was an Autobot scout. And he arrives on this planet in the middle of nowhere after crashing down, and he eventually befriends a local alien named Kita, who's a purple alien anime-looking character. So he lives in peace with Kita, and the thing is, Kita's planet is populated by people who are like super pacifists. They believe that the most evil thing you can do to someone is be violent to someone, which puts Cliffjumper in a bad situation because Cliffjumper's an Autobot. He's an assassin for the Autobots. He assassinated a Decepticon commander recently before he got stranded on this planet, and he's like, oh, if they find out that I fight in a war, my friends are gonna hate me. Let's see. But eventually, the Decepticons do arrive onto the planet to take Kita hostage. Cliffjumper faces them and fights them, and the Decepticon officer is like, you're just one small dude, and you killed part of my forces. And then Kita says, do not hurt him. He just wants to find his friends. Of course he does. Why wouldn't he? He wants to escape. He is peaceful. He's a murderer. He's a killer like us. This hero of yours is an assassin. He slipped into our headquarters, killed 5 Decepticon guards, and assassinated our commander. His ship was found and destroyed. We've been hunting him ever since. His ship, it crashed. Tell her, Autobot. Kita, I'm sorry. No. The tragedy is devastating. Really, it is. But, yeah, so Kita's heart is broken that this friendly little red guy hurt people, and that's the ultimate sin in their culture. But let's see. Eventually, the Decepticon throws a grenade that wounds Kita. Cliffjumper gets her and her brother to safety in a barn. So they're hiding out in a barn, but Kita's been wounded by the grenade. And you just have this scene where she dies, where they're alone in the dark, and she's like, my head, I can't hear. I know. I'm Cole. Cole is the name of her brother. Cole, where's Kita? It's cold. Is it cold? I told you, I can't feel the cold. That was a plot point earlier where, like, he was really hot in the sun working out, and then she touched him and then it burned her because he's metal. He's like, oh, you don't feel the heat? He's like, no, I don't feel the heat or cold at this level. So that's a callback. And then she trails off and dies. And then you see this Autobot cry. And he just says, Cole, stay with Kita. And then he just goes out guns blazing against the Decepticons who killed his friend. So Spotlight Cliffjumper is one of the most memorable moments for me in the IDW universe. By the way, I have my list in chronological order, like the order they happened in universe. But if anyone wants to bring up something and I happen to have it on here, I'll jump towards that. And you guys have been fairly quiet lately. Let me check the viewers. Oh, we jumped back to 10? That's interesting. Say hi, guys, in the chat, because this is a discussion, and it's very hard for me to discuss something by myself. After Cliffjumper, let's see, another one of my favorite moments, Tripwire. Now, Tripwire had this little, vignette, little spotlight, if you will, on him in G.I. Joe Hearts and Minds, number 3, I think. It could be number 2. But Hearts and Minds was a G.I. Joe series that just focused on individual characters. The IDW G.I. Joe portion of the universe, I think, is the best version of G.I. Joe. Spotlight Shockwave was a favorite. Yeah, Spotlight Shockwave is pretty good. But let's see. IDW's G.I. Joe universe blended realism and character development perfectly. Sort of like the best parts of the Larry Hama series. Oh, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, it is. Yeah. I hope to elicit a pretty awesome moment for most of these. Some of these, looking back, I think are pretty weak, but okay, I'm confused. Didn't they say he would stop doing Transformers after Fun Publication shut down? No? Is that terrorist speak? Yes! Well, no. He's in Iraq. But yeah, IDW G.I. Joe focused character development and realism, and not like super realism until you get to the fall of G.I. Joe. That was a stupid arc. IDW's G.I. Joe is very solid up until the fall of G.I. Joe, which is a 8-issue story arc, where they got super realistic and the G.I. Joe had to instigate a war between two sovereign nations so that the United States can profit. And that was too realistic, too terrible. After that, they gave it to Aubrey Sitterson, who made it the most... Real talk, I don't really hate Aubrey Sitterson's work. I actually enjoyed his G.I. Joe series. I just hate him as a person. What do you think of the series when Starscream was leader, and how you feel of Windblade? I wish the writers would be consistent with how Windblade is treated in the IDW universe. And Starscream being leader lasted way too long, I think. And they weren't even consistent with Starscream's motivations when he was the leader of Cybertron. But where was I? The blah, 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 realism. This early IDW, this G.I. Joe stuff was good. So Tripwire. This is in the Iraq War. There's a car with an IED in it. Or a bomb in it. And Tripwire, whose real name I forget, is sent out. He's a bomb disposal dude. He goes out to defuse the bomb. Let's see. I know I skipped a few pages with this one. We'll see. Oh boy, chat moved fast there. How do you feel about Shockwave coming out as a furry? That's an interesting way to put it. I think Shockwave being Onyx Prime the whole time was unnecessary. What made you want to go back to Transformers after what the G.I. Joe writer said in Twitter? Money. I get a paycheck when I do Transformer videos. So, I know I skip a few pages with this one. I'll try to do a dramatic reading. One of the medical staff called it in. They were already on edge after that cell phone tower got taken out last night. No one knows when it was parked. But the trunk is sagging. Got it. And that would be General Hawk, the head of G.I. Joe. I'm not sure if Tripwire is a member of G.I. Joe right now. G.I. Joe does this thing in the IDW universe where they take the most elite soldiers and then they declare them to be dead and then they make them join G.I. Joe, sometimes at gunpoint. G.I. Joe isn't exactly a nice organization in the IDW universe. But Hawk is the head of G.I. Joe. He's often shown with sunglasses. But Hawk is watching this bomb disposal soldier, putting his life on the line to dispose a bomb. No one knows when it was parked, but the trunk is sagging. Got it. And the bot? Skoog, that's his name, Skoog. That's Tripwire. Skoog wouldn't wait for it. And that surprises you because... And while Skoog/Tripwire is defusing this bomb, you get these flashbacks to him and his relationship with this girl he met in England. And he's just talking about pretty much how much he liked her. And how they spent so much time together. Stuff like that. What's his deal? War Junkie? Section 8? Why don't you go ask him? Oh, I keep dragging an invisible page that's behind this. Skoog, I am giving you At this point, the bomb defusal thing is getting too risky. They're trying to get him to fall back, but Hawk's like, nah, let me see what he does. Let me see this dude blow himself up. I'm Hawk. I don't have any morals. But the bomb continues to tick down as he's defusing it. He continues to flash back to his old girlfriend, and as the time's ticking down, he thinks about how she said goodbye to him before he left the airport to go back to America. And then, of course, because it's England, there's a terrorist attack, a bus blows up, and his girlfriend gets killed. You know, hashtag Allahu Akbar. So we go back to him being a bombed... He ends up defusing the bomb. He gets brought in by G.I. Joe. And he's like, there was no risk with me defusing that bomb. And Hawk's like, you keep saying that. What do you mean there's no risk? Sir, if I'd have been spooked enough to cut either of those, what are your thoughts on the IDW Universe's version of Unicron? Lame. Bad. Sir, if I'd have been spooked enough to cut either of those wires, or both, it would have triggered the device, and they'd bag themselves a well-trained, highly experienced U.S. military asset. And by not doing anything, then by treaty, all those very pricey explosives must be handed over to the local security forces as material aid. And chances are that material aid will end up misplaced by the local security forces and right back where it started. Either way, they can't lose. No risk. Sound logic, specialist, but what if you were wrong? So what if you cut the wrong wire, tripwire? What would have happened? What if you were wrong? If I was wrong? And I really love the art on this. And it shows if he was wrong, the car would explode. But then the art shifts, and like almost out of the explosion, his girlfriend comes in. We'd be together again. No risk. My codename is Tripwire, and I am G.I. Joe. So there's this dude that just defuses bombs because his girlfriend got killed by a bomb because of a terrorist attack in London. But he doesn't care if he gets blown up when he's defusing bombs, because if he blows up, then he's going to be together with her again. And I just think that's one of the best G.I. Joe stories out there. Like, that's a really good, self-contained little story there. I think people definitely seem to... The IDW Transformer stuff seems to be more popular, but I think the IDW G.I. Joe stuff is severely underrated. My favorite part was when Hot Rod saves Optimus in Autocracy, effectively making him a more popular character. Yeah, it was pretty much Flint Dille wanting to absolve himself of his sins for Transformers the movie in the 80s. Let me get some water. Alright. Let's see. How about we go to Transformers Infiltration? Now, this was the very first story arc for the IDW Universe. The Transformers are sort of hidden on Earth. There is no Optimus Prime and no Megatron. The Autobots on Earth are led by Prowl, and the Decepticons are led by Starscream. They have their own little small units on Earth. Because the thing with a running theme with IDW is that the war between the Autobots and Decepticons has been raging for 4 million years out in the stars. Earth is sort of on the periphery. Nobody cares about Earth. It's just a random planet out there. Do you have a favorite art style from the comics? Casey Collar, probably. Casey Collar's work. Five-Ho. Follow-up, any favorite robot designs? Like, specifically? I actually like E.J. Sue's robot designs. Even though I like Casey Collar's artwork more, I like the designs E.J. Sue gives them. How do you feel about Lost Light? I really don't like Lost Light. Thoughts on the Wreckers saga? Last Stand of the Wreckers was very good. Sins of the Wreckers bored me. Requiem of the Wreckers, I really like the tone. I love More Than Meets the Eye and Lost Light. The ending was mad, but I love the Matrix opening. I didn't really care for that. There are going to be several More Than Meets the Eye moments in here. Let's see. Bam, 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 bam. Yeah, we got a few More Than Meets the Eye moments in here. But Infiltration was supposed to be small scale. Earth was supposed to not matter, so Optimus Prime and Megatron aren't even there. But Starscream discovers that there's a special type of energon, a special fuel source for Cybertronians that makes them super powerful. So he eventually saves himself up some of the energon and just powers himself up. But that gains the attention of a certain Megatron, who pops up on Earth. Hold on. And here we see Megatron land on Earth through what's called an orbital bounce. It's their system of going on and off planets. And the first thing he says, popping up on Earth, Starscream! I just love that panel of Megatron just landing, opening his mouth as wide as he can, and just screaming, Starscream! I don't know too much about the DJD. I've heard they kind of suck as characters. Is that true? Yes, they're extremely overrated. So Megatron's pissed at Starscream for breaking their protocol because they're supposed to be robots in disguise, but Starscream's like taking this energon for himself and just going out and sort of revealing himself to the public. So Starscream comes out and fights Megatron. There's this big fight between Starscream and Megatron, and Starscream actually looks like he's getting the upper hand because he's powered by Ultra Energon. And he beats the crap out of Megatron for a while. But ultimately, Megatron, even though Megatron's not powered up by the Ultra Energon, gains the upper hand, grabs Starscream by the side of the head, yells, "Take your punishment like a Decepticon," and then just freaking shoots him through the chest with his fusion cannon. It's a wonderful moment. Starscream should have died, but whatever. The way they make it, I don't have the picture here, but there's like a huge gaping hole in his chest that he really should have died from, but he gets better. Oh, that's a shame their design. Yeah, the DJD have cool designs. That's really it. I'm surprised that you don't like IDW version of Unicron. Why don't you like IDW version of Unicron? Because he has a cool design, but that's it. It's a shallow. It was very much a shallow. Here, let's just do Unicron at the end. Here, It's not even really Unicron. It's just some sort of empty husk of a war machine that's not really a character. IDW Unicron sucks. It's unbelievably bad. But yeah, there's Starscream getting the crap beaten out of him. Let's see. Do you know Simon Furman stopped writing Transformers right before Hail Megatron? Yes, I know Simon Furman stopped writing. What sort of question is that? Starscream powering up like Underbase and kinda, yeah. Although Underbase Starscream was definitely much more OP than Ultra Energon Starscream. Another little moment I want to have here is Rumble getting his head shot. And, hated how they killed Ironhide, Soundwave, and Woodchuck. Hated how they just started killing everyone in 2018 because the writers are unoriginal and don't know what to do when they know they're about to end. So it's like, hey, may as well kill anyone, because that's good writing. Alright. All Hail Megatron. Eventually, Megatron stops wanting to do the whole live in secret thing. There's this story arc called All Hail Megatron where he just goes all out and takes over the Earth. Oh, hold on. Hey. Thank you. Guess who's got some spaghetti? I mean, you know why he stopped writing for it? Because they wanted All Hail Megatron. They wanted a fresh new start to bring in the new readers. So, Megatron launches this assault to take over Earth. He does take over Earth. There's a massive push across the galaxy to destroy the Autobots. The Autobots are essentially left absolutely devastated. I don't think they really ever recover from All Hail Megatron, at least in the galactic front. Because even when the war's technically over, there are still some Decepticon outposts just chilling out in space. The Autobots eventually win the war, but only because they took back Cybertron. Space really is still a Decepticon domain after All Hail Megatron. I see your point. Thank you for sharing your opinion. Well, New York. Did you like Transformers more than meets the eye? I liked the beginning of it. But Earth gets taken over by the Decepticons for a little bit. In Rumble, one of Soundwave's little cassette bots is out on the streets, but there's a group of human resistance people the first full half of All Hail Megatron just reads as a apocalypse film where where giant robots have taken over the world and there are just a few humans who are the resistance. But in one battle, one dude hits Rumble in the face with a RPG. He's downed. That's for my boy. So, but all of a sudden they hear like something big coming, thoom, 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 as they say, because Soundwave is walking up, and Soundwave sees that Rumble's down, and he just looks at him, and then he walks over to Rumble's body, picks him up, and then just sort of lets out his emotions the only way Soundwave knows how to. Soundwave is a very cold character, but he really cares about his own cassette bots. Soundwave has this ability to control sound waves, pretty much. And seeing his boy has been hurt, he just holds him in his arms and just lets out this sonic frequency that's just... like, I think it's a very interesting way to show, like, a Cybertronian like Soundwave showing grief, just like sonic boom everything. And then he walks away holding his boy, if you can see his feet back there. However, by doing that, he inadvertently activates the phone lines on Earth, which the Decepticons had shut down out of his grief. But this one moment gave a lot of character to Soundwave for me. Now, they try to do that again in Optimus Prime in 2018, where G.I. Joe Agent Mainframe, that's Frenzy, Uncultured Mongoloid. No, that's Rumble. In IDW, Rumble is red, Frenzy is blue, and that's how it should be. So, Mainframe was a G.I. Joe agent who Soundwave eventually befriended. They originally hated each other, but they became each other's friends later on. Mainframe is my favorite G.I. Joe character in the IDW universe, and he gets killed off just randomly in 2018 when the writers think, oh, just killing people is a good way to tell a story. I really hope they try to, show that he's feeling the same sort of pain he did before with the whole Soundwave things, but it just falls flat. They just killed a character randomly, and they're like, "Oh, but we still care about continuity, though." 2018 was a mistake. Let's see. Where did you think it goes bad? More than meets the... It's kind of a spectrum of when it goes bad. There's no one moment it gets bad, it's just the quality eventually starts to decline until it enters bad territory. Do you think Deathsaurus was wasted? No. That Frenzy continued being wrong. I mean, do you read the comics, Terrasoplex? So, back to All Hail Megatron. Trying to eat my spaghetti. After a while of ruling Earth, about a year of ruling Earth, thoughts on Megatron becoming an Autobot, and were you annoyed by the fact that all humans pretty much despise Transformers, and thoughts on the Torchbearers, Pyromagnet, and Victorian? Thoughts on Megatron becoming an Autobot. They didn't do enough with it. Were you annoyed by the fact that all humans pretty much despise Transformers? No, it makes sense that they would. And thoughts on the Torchbearers, Pyromagnet, and Victorian? They were bad characters and never should have been brought in. Or at the very least put under a good writer. So, All Hail Megatron. After a year of the Decepticons ruling Earth, the Decepticons are kind of getting tired because, like, we fought so hard to take over Earth. Now we took over Earth. What do we do now? So, Starscream eventually does the Starscream thing to do, and by the way, he's better from that big hole he got in his chest. The continuity had its ups and downs, and sadly, in the end, it ends in a down. Yeah, it does end in a down. Posted the peak of my humor in the Transformers channel. By the way, do join the Discord for all you people not in there. I don't think there's a link to the Discord in the description. If someone can post that in the chat. Jesus Christ, Terrasoplex! You just have Megatron out there yelling. Okay. How do you feel about IDW Star Saber? They didn't do enough with him. I do like how the human of the IDW universe started to incorporate Cybertron technology after all Hail Megatron. Yeah, Deus Volt. Do you think Hot Rod should have become a Prime? He kinda did, sorta. He did bond with the Matrix in Space Opera. It's just James Roberts forgot that. Alright, let me focus on telling this little story. Starscream eventually starts plotting against Megatron. There's a little Decepticon conflict between each other. And then the European Union shows up. Because if anyone's going to save the United States from being under Decepticon occupation, it's the European Union. But yeah, so Starscream and Megatron, they were in the middle of fighting with their different forces. Then the European Union shows up, so they have to focus it. And so they begin just casually talking as if they weren't at war with each other just a few moments ago. And let me do my little voice acting here. If I didn't know better, Megatron, I'd say the timing of this attack seemed a little convenient. This is the combined... Jesus Christ, I hate doing Megatron's voice. This is the combined might of their remaining forces from across the oceans. A last-ditch effort to wipe us from their planet. So you knew? Of course. Listen to me, Starscream. All of this has been planned from the beginning with meticulous effort. When the war first began, I needed an army, one ruthless enough to overthrow a planet. With the rise of the Autobots, my army had to become much more. A ruthless, vile machine, capable of winning at any cost. Jesus Christ. Let's see. The goal... Let me drink some water. The goal was to defeat the Autobots, no matter what. Once the Autobots were defeated, I would kill the very creature I created to wipe out my enemies in the first place. Once the Decepticons were remodeled, recreated into what I had originally intended them to be, then, and only then, would our reign begin. No infighting, no dissent, nothing but perfectly controlled peace through unparalleled strength. When are you going to realize, Starscream? Nothing comes as a surprise to me. And then they begin being shot at by bigger guns than what the European Union has, and Megatron looks up. No, because the Autobots who had been stranded on Cybertron up until this point have just arrived on Earth, just raining down on the Decepticons in New York City. To which this exchange happens. Unbelievable. So, something you hadn't planned for, then? Of course not. Their formation is scattered, desperate. They're trying to overwhelm us with numbers. If we regroup quickly, regain control, the battle is ours. Starscream, listen to me. Listen to me and understand. One day, you will lead the Decepticon armies. You will rule over them as you've always wanted, and will have done so by crushing me beneath your heel. The right to lead is one that cannot be given. It must be taken. This is something I see before you, but not today. Jesus Christ. Today, the Decepticons are mine. You are mine. Understand that your time will come. But now, join with me and bring about a new age. Do this, and you will rule. So Starscream gives that a little moment to think about, and then goes, Attention Decepticon ground forces, I want all troops to regroup and form a solid front immediately behind Devastator. Air units, you are to form on me in the air, concentrate fire on the humans, and provide aerial defense for our ground forces. Then he walks off, but turns and looks back at Megatron, and then gives a final, All hail Megatron! And then Megatron stands proudly, watching his boy grow up as he falls under attack. So I really like that scene where Megatron says, Starscream, you can try to overthrow me all you want, but one day you will. One day you actually will overthrow me, and then you will have the right to lead, just not today. And then Starscream sort of like is like, yeah, sounds good. So that really was a very interesting characterization between Megatron and Starscream. If you could feel that through my coughing and trying to be Megatron. Let's see. If you could replace or swap any characters, who would it be? I wouldn't replace or swap any characters. How did you feel with them adding Beast Wars characters? It felt like a slap in the face, particularly the Maximals. Well, they're used to it at this point. Forget Frank Welker. This is the Megatron we need. Not to sound annoying, but will you continue your Transformers lore videos and Beast Wars Uprising podcast? No. Don't hurt your throat. Too late for that. What would IDW, during both his Autobot and Decepticon days, and Marvel Megatron? That's not a question. Jesus Christ. The next moment I want to talk about is Chuckles killing Jinx. Mike Costa's run on G.I. Joe is spectacular. And the beginning of his run starts with the character Chuckles. During this time period, G.I. Joe is just starting to think that Cobra might actually exist. And so General Hawk sends this G.I. Joe agent named Chuckles, who pretty much always wears a Hawaiian shirt, out into the field to find Cobra. And his goal is to infiltrate Cobra, find their leader, and kill him. So he does so, and he also has this partner, Jinx. Jinx is another G.I. Joe agent, female, and they eventually fall in love with each other because, you know, they're the only two people they've pretty much talked to. So we have Jinx and Chuckles, and it, you know, they're sort of falling in love while they're like doing their infiltration of Cobra, trying to find out more about Cobra. And eventually, I remember this. Yeah, I made a video of this part. But Chuckles he eventually does infiltrate Cobra, and then one day he wakes up. One of his partners wakes him up, Seaman. 2 nights later, it happens. Seaman, what time is it? Time to go. Security is leaky. Leaky all over. There, here. We think we find why. We think you will know why. Me? Why would I know? Because you are clever. There's a reason. Is there a reason why your gun's out? Yes. We have finally caught Spy. So, Cobra has caught a spy. And then he sees that it's Jinx. Jinx has been captured by Cobra. You know this woman. Oh my god, Jinx. Stop it. After everything, don't stand there and pretend. What? Don't pretend you don't know me after all this time. Keep having to adjust the pages. Sir, our surveillance places this woman in Kabul, Medellin, and Tibsley over the dates when you were known to have been there. How? She must have gotten my transmissions. That means headquarters got them too. The jerk, you know, I don't cuss on this show. The jerk killed my family 6 years ago in Cambodia. You don't even remember me, do you? You used me and left me bleeding in the corner, and you don't even remember my face. She's making up a cover story on the spot. Or maybe she always had it up her sleeve in case she was caught. In case... Oh god, she's been caught. How am I going to get her out of here? 3 years ago, the New People's Army found you in Laos. I've been tracking you since. I would have made my move in Tibsley if not for these goons. Remember James? I killed him last month. Put a knife through his jaw just like he did my brother. I can't get her out. We're both going to die here. I think this woman is crazy. I can take Semyon, maybe even the 2 guardsmen, but there's no way we can get out of this bunker. She knows it. So here you are, a big man with a defenseless girl tied to a chair. Do it then, because if you don't, I'll get out of here and then you're dead. I can't save her, and if I die, the mission is over. These people go on to kill thousands. Tens of thousands. We didn't know if you want to be in on this, sir. We know you're a busy man. We can take care of her, and I assure you it won't be pleasant. But we thought you might like to do it yourself. That's one life against thousands. Against bringing all these people down. One soldier's life. Did you hear me? If I leave here, you're dead. So go ahead and do it, you coward. She's got my transmissions. She knows something big is coming. She's a soldier. And the mission is everything. Do it! And then he shoots her. Just kills the woman he loves. So he can keep on his mission to bring down Cobra. Why shoot so quickly? She could give us information, maybe. Information? On what? She was nobody. And he drops the pistol and walks away. The first thing I thought when they opened the door and I saw her, thank God it's not me. And at that point, after he kills Jinx, his text boxes become black. It's very... I just love Chuckles' story. This story about how this spy pretty much has to lose himself completely to bring down Cobra. It's amazing. Now, John Barber thinks, oh, this is actually a sexist comic book, so I'm going to make Thundercracker write a movie where instead of shooting Jinx, he shoots the guards. James Roberts rewrote this scene. He puts it in one of the Optimus Prime issues as part of a movie Thundercracker makes. In Thundercracker's movie, where is it? Instead of shooting her, he shoots the guards and then walks away. They leave together, and it says they do... Actually, I think they try to both bring down Cobra together. But obviously that's not the situation, John Barber. He pretty much rewrote the best scene. He just spat upon one of the best scenes in the IDW universe because, oh, it's sexist. Give me a break. Alright, what we got here? Holy crap, 12 viewers. Do we still have 12 viewers? But yeah, this stream has waned through how much viewers I'm getting so far. 10? Yeah, this has been a bigger crowd than before. If you guys are watching me, why don't you give the stream a little like so I know you're here? What was better, Robots in Disguise or More Than Meets the Eye? At the beginning, More Than Meets the Eye was better than Robots in Disguise. Towards the middle, there's a shift where Robots in Disguise becomes better than More Than Meets the Eye. It's almost like you didn't commit Sudoku on your channel. That's true. I remember this. Yeah. Thought on Rung being Primus. Of course, James Roberts would make his OC God, because that's not the definition of Mary Sue or whatever. Thoughts on IDW, Duke? Let's see. They did take risk with his character, I'll give them that. Because if you don't take risk with Duke, it's going to be completely boring. But I'm just not sure if the risk they took had a proper reward to it, beyond just character destruction. But it's hard to be angry about them destroying Duke's character when he's barely a character to begin with. If you were to choose which universe the duplicate Lost Lighters would land in, which would it be? Personally, I choose the Dreamwave universe. I don't care. That was sad. It really is, yeah. I have returned. Hello. Who else liked Dark Cybertron? Oh, I can't say I like Dark Cybertron, to be honest. Why did IDW make Duke a bad guy in the end? Because they tried to do something with his character. I can respect that much. Only 90s kids will remember Radix streams getting 20 viewers. I don't remember my stream getting 20 viewers. Let's see. The next moment I have to talk about is another Chuckles moment. At this point, Chuckles had been captured by Cobra. They realize he's a spy, so his cover eventually gets blown eventually. He's a spy. He gets captured by Cobra, but he begins to escape. So he begins to escape. Between the map and that dog, my arm is shredded. I might have to stop to treat it sooner than I'd like. At this point, he's in the forest outside of the Cobra base. I'm not hearing any pursuit vehicles, but that's actually what has me worried. And there, in the forest, is Cobra Commander himself. 14 now, my man. Oh, that's interesting. So Cobra Commander's just standing in the middle of the forest looking at Chuckles. You didn't bring a jacket. You forgot we have flak jackets in the back of the tanks. He used a tank to escape the compound. Chuckles pulls out his gun and points it at Cobra Commander. I remembered this was in the glove box, though. Should have brought the rifle. That caliber won't penetrate through to anything vital. Then I'll just beat you to death. Tear your head off with my bare hands. No, you wouldn't win that fight. And then the Cobra Commander pulls a gun out on Chuckles. I'll take that bet. There's no point to this. We're on an island several hundred miles from a continental landmass. There's nowhere you can hide. We won't find you. What are you going to do, hotwire a submarine? You won't find me before I find you again. Maybe. Then what? What will you do to us? Even the small sliver of the organization you've seen? How would you harm us? Killing you seems like a good start. Try it. Before you come over here and force me to kill you, think about this. You could attack me and die. You could run and you might just get away. But that just adds a few weeks or months of living rough like an animal before you die. Or you could join us. I'll give you Tomax and Zammit. Tomax and Zammit are two Cobra agents who Chuckles worked for when he had to kill Jinx. So, in a way, Chuckles puts a lot of the blame on the death of Jinx on Tomax and Zammit. In fact, Tomax and Zammit knew that Chuckles already was a G.I. Joe spy when they sent Jinx to him. So they wanted to see if Chuckles would kill Jinx anyway, even though they already knew he was a spy. I'm not afraid of you, Chuckles, but that doesn't mean they aren't. You destroyed a priceless R&D project they were overseeing. That would be the Bats, Cobra's little robot army. You caused the abdication of their most trusted lieutenant. I think that's Erica Laten. Unimportant for now, but that's that lieutenant's a good character. And whatever you did to them personally has all but destroyed their relationship. Tomax and Zammit are twins. Chuckles shoots Zammit with a blank that causes him to have a scar on his face, and the two twins start to grow apart because Zammit has a scar on his face because they don't look the same anymore, and so they don't feel close to them again. It's interesting psychology stuff. And whatever you did to them personally has all but destroyed their relationship. Through them, you've hurt us more than any one man ever has. Through their failures. And failure is not an option in Cobra. I'd get them anyway. Maybe. But even if you did, what then? You'll have no purpose. A man with your skill shouldn't be without a purpose. G.I. Joe, Cobra, both of these are amoral organizations. Both of them paved the roads to their objectives with innocent bodies. You were made to execute your partner, your lover. Zammit put that gun in your hand, yes, but who put you on his doorstep? You were serving both Cobra and G.I. Joe when you pulled that trigger. The only difference between the two is, we're the ones who will take you now. We're the ones that want you back. You'll find I'm not a sadist like the Powleys. There's no percentage in Naked Mayhem. You prove yourself, and after they're removed, you can run their organization any way you see fit. Except for our requisition. The money is all yours. Give 80% of the profits to animal cruelty charities for all I care. Better yet, use it to exact revenge on the people who manipulated you. And so Chuckles gives it some thought. Okay, let's see what you can do for me. Wonderful. Even though Chuckles doesn't see it, he's already being surrounded by hundreds of Cobra snipers. I knew you'd see the light. So that's how Chuckles ends up becoming a loyal member, or no. That's how Chuckles becomes a member of Cobra High Command. But of course, we know that Chuckles is a man on a mission. We fast forward a few story arcs to Zammit. That Zammit you see on the screen, he is on a mission to overthrow the Cobra Commander, because he hates that the Cobra Commander has recruited Chuckles into Cobra, since Chuckles is a G.I. Joe agent. He's like, are you crazy, Cobra Commander? He's a G.I. Joe agent. So this is him during the middle of a coup. I'm the man who broke the bank at I don't know if that's a real song. I don't know that song. He goes into the room. And there's Cobra Commander. Zammit, what are you doing here? Chuckles has betrayed us. He's taken out an entire Viper unit, incapacitated High Command with poison, and right now is being hunted by your Vipers. No, causing God knows what damage. That's a lie. Zammit was the one that was doing that to frame Chuckles. I find this very hard to believe. Why isn't it highlighting? Hello? Okay. Sorry, I need to adjust the image. Okay. Well, you would, but High Command won't when they see the evidence. They'll see that you were finally undone by your hubris. Bringing a G.I. Joe agent in here? Really, the arrogance of it. I'm actually impressed. Unfortunately, Chuckles killed you too before I killed him. And then my Crimson Guard managed to restore order from your from your confused Viper forces. Guardsmen. The Crimson Guard, by the way, are under the command of Powley, under Zammit's control. So here he is saying that I'm going to kill you and nobody's going to believe that I did it. Zammit, this is absurd. No one in High Command would believe your fairy tale. They might have suspicions, certainly, but it will all be very neat. After they dispatch you, my guardsmen will pull Chuckles' incapacitated body from his quarters and execute him in the woods. By the time the rest of High Command recovers, it will be a fait accompli. And hardly the first time this sort of thing has happened. You really did your best to seem so erratic and unpredictable, didn't you, Zammit? Exactly when did you start thinking you could outwit me? You don't even pay attention to the details of your own plan. Chuckles doesn't eat with High Command. And then one of the guardsmen takes off his helmet to reveal himself to be Chuckles. You know, a Shyamalan twist. You really think I can't tell when someone pulls a Boston dip on me? As soon as you attacked Chuckles, you'd overplayed your hand. Such a pity. You never should have estranged yourself from your brother. You're just not very smart on your own. Chuckles, as promised, the enemy is before you. Kill him. And Chuckles says, sure thing, Yo Joe, and points it right at Cobra Commander's head. What? And then, blam. Possibly one of the most infamous panels in all of IDW G.I. Joe. Chuckles shoots a bullet, finally, straight into the head of Cobra Commander. Thereby getting his revenge for Jinx dying. Now, the story's not over for Chuckles, oh no. He tries to leave, but he gets, attacked by a Cobra dude, and now he's bleeding. Zammit's pursuing him. I'm busted up pretty bad here. I can't move. I can hardly breathe. So I just make myself. The Kuril Island archipelago between Japan and Russia has been a disputed area since World War II ended. Both countries claim ownership. Nobody wants to fight too hard over a bunch of dots on the map. The stalemate has kept them mostly deserted for 60 years. There are still tanks and forts standing vacant from where they were abandoned at the end of the war, including an old submarine dock that an organization like Cobra could easily retrofit since nobody pays any attention to it. So he's approaching this submarine, maybe hoping to escape. But without Tomax to open the hatch, there's not a lot I can... Well, that's lucky. The hatch has already been opened. Descending the ladder is impossible, so I just fall most of the way. Give myself another concussion. I'm thinking about what a great idea it would be just to take a little nap right there, and then I figure out who left the hatch open. I knew you'd make it. So Zammit opened the hatch knowing that Chuckles would try to use it to escape. Okay, here I am, totally helpless, just how you like it. Go ahead and do it. Okay. And then he slices his face. To sort of be just like how Zammit has a scar. You know how I knew? Because we think alike. With everyone evacuated to the hangar, at this point Cobra is evacuating the facility because the Cobra Commander's dead and everyone's spooked. With everyone evacuated to the hangar, the only way out is the sub, right? Just burst in, grab the captain, make him take you home. Nobody can chase down a sub. Brilliant. I'm famous for my strategy. You joke, but you're close to the truth. I knew you never actually turned to Cobra. Your spirit is indomitable. Yeah, I'm a walking inspirational poster. Yes, you are. Don't you see, Chuckles? You inspired me. I was a slave before I met you, a slave to my business, to Cobra, even to my own brother. I was half a person, less than half. Then you show up, and in one brilliant moment of illumination, you showed me the walls of my prison, and it was so amazingly easy to smash them down after that. It's poetic, isn't it? I showed you your cell, and you showed me mine. So that's how I knew you'd be here, because this is fate. You transcended Cobra, just as I have. I've even transcended Tomax. It's only me now, and we are the only sane people in this entire building. You are my brother. You always have been. And as you freed me from my shackles, I'm going to free you from yours. You'll fight it at first, but you'll see. All we have is each other. To which Chuckles does some kung fu moves. That's enough of that. You think you're like my great nemesis or something, don't you? You think you matter to me? I don't waste a second thinking about you. You're nothing. You're just another guy in the opposite colored uniform. Our fates are still linked together, though. You can't pilot this vessel. At some point, Chuckles got stabbed through the heart, I guess. Well, that's not the heart, is it? He gets stabbed. I killed the captain. So the captain's dead. Zammit got him, so they're stuck in here. Meanwhile, Cobra's, evacuating. There's the Baroness. The commander's remains will be dealt with. All exits but one have been secured. We have a team heading to the submarine dock now. This orders to capture Chuckles alive. Then he will be dealt with too. Back in the submarine. I told you he's dead. If I don't leave here, neither do you. So Zammit's like, we have to both leave the island because you can't leave without my help. And Chuckles says, you don't get it, Zammit. And in his monologue, Jinx, you are so much braver than me. Wait, is that submarine still outfitted with nuclear warheads? Yes, ma'am, of course. You laid down your life not out of anger or despair, but for duty to protect others. I was never leaving here. Get the commander's body on that transport and evacuate all high command immediately so Baroness knows there's a freaking nuke and a suicidal guy on a nuclear submarine. It's a good thing you guys don't care about things like safety or moral obligations. I never had that kind of strength inside me. Wait, where are you going? Zammit is still down there. Take your hands off me. I'm not leaving until we find my... Ugh. All I've ever had is this anger, this stupid, senseless rage that one general after another has used me for. Pointing me at targets and letting me go. Those things just get in the way, right? So even though on a sub operated by a sane military, you need at least 2 key holders, plus a few more layers of protocol. Load him onto that plane. Put him next to Boa. Boa's a Cobra agent. We could leave him, ma'am. His brother is the cause of all this. No. If we can't recover his brother, leaving him alive is a far worse punishment. On your sub, one man can do this alone. Your sub docked under a multi-billion-dollar installation filled with hundreds of troops and your entire command structure. You're right, Zammit. Maybe we are the only 2 sane people left. Or at least I am. I want you to watch this very carefully now. It's that anger that brought me here, not strength or courage or love. So I won't disgrace your memory by saying I'm doing this for you, Jinx. Because I'm doing this for me. And then Chuckles activates the nuke, destroying the Cobra facility, killing himself and Zammit. You see Cobra Vipers being ripped to shreds by the nuke. You see Cobra tanks get ruined by the nuke. And then Tomax like, nah! I think that's a stupid way to put him screaming since his twin died. And then just you get another last shot of the nuke going out. And that's how Chuckles came to an end. And Chuckles' story I really think is the highlight of IDW G.I. Joe. Let's see. You guys keep a number of the viewers. Brainstorm is the best. Sure. Do you think the IDW combined properties are terrible or well done, especially after the Unicron? The IDW Universe is good from 2016 to 2017. It's bad from 2017 to 2018. Which tells me it can be done right, and it was done right, and it was done very well, and then they went off the deep end. And I blame the 2017-2018 era on the writers and not on the combined universe, the combined properties. So, quick question: is IDW Cobra Commander like old Marvel Comics Cobra Commander, and that there is more than one of them, or is this one guy? There are more there's a Cobra Commander throughout history. It's implied that the Cobra organization was created by a bunch of bandits during the Roman Empire days, and while a lot of people were going towards civilization in the form of the Roman Empire, they were Cobra wanted to keep with banditry, and so every so years there's an election on who's going to be Cobra Commander. Something like that. So Cobra Commander dies here, and a new Cobra member called Crake ends up becoming the next Cobra Commander. Who's better, Cobra Commander or Blofeld Commander? Yeah, Cobra Commander all the way. Say, did Destro do anything of significance? He's a very important character in the IDW universe. Why did IDW make Starsaber a religious psychopath? Because it's a way to make a new character? Chuckles Great Joe. I agree. Let's see. Now, another one of my favorite moments is Cobra Command, but I really don't have one moment from Cobra Command. But the whole thing of Cobra Command was after Cobra Commander died, Crake became the new Cobra Commander, and Crake was a lot more vicious than the original Cobra Commander. Crake grew up in this Southeast Asian nation called Nanjiao. Oops, I meant Combiner, not Combine. Oh, you think the IDW Combiner properties... What are Combiner properties? But Cobra Command, the new Cobra Commander after Chuckles killed the last one, it came from this Southeast Asian country where he was forced as a child soldier, and he doesn't like that country anymore. So what he does is he takes Cobra out of the shadows. Cobra is no longer a secret organization. He invades Nanjiao, and it leads to this really good modern G.I. Joe story where G.I. Joe is fighting alongside United Nations forces against Cobra over the fate of an entire country. It's a great story, ends with Cobra winning. Nanjiao gets nuked, as you can see, gets entirely nuked, wiped off the map, and then Cobra gets a seat at the United Nations. So this is essentially G.I. Joe's own version of All Hail Megatron, where the bad guys win in a big scale fight. So yeah, Cobra Command was definitely a good series. Or a good event. Do you like IDW's take on Bumblebee and Thundercracker? I like IDW's take on Bumblebee and Thundercracker up until about 2011-ish, or 2012-ish. The whole the mind merging thing. That was... They actually don't really do much to it. They don't really do much. They don't explore that. They don't develop that concept much, actually. Joe's thing, WTF. Yeah, they're like, oh man. Another good moment. The best fight between Optimus Prime and Megatron in the IDW universe. So this is after All Hail Megatron. Megatron gets shot in the face at the end of All Hail Megatron, but he comes back in a new body that's so cool. They were really trying to sell his new body when they came up with his new character design. But Megatron comes back in this story arc called Revenge of the Decepticons. So, how can an organization with as sucky of an ideology last so long? There is a story in Hearts and Minds where they show just exactly what type of people are in it, how Cobra keeps getting all these different Cobra Vipers, how they have all these different soldiers. It's really fleshed out. Ultimately, they really just take in the dispossessed. Anyone, the same type of people who would enter some sort of gang, except they're taking everyone. The dispossessed, stuff like that. But Megatron comes back, and during this time, the Autobots are trying to forge a better alliance with the humans. they're trying to say, hey, humanity, the Autobots are on your side. So they're trying to develop this relationship with humanity, although humans are still scared after all Hail Megatron, where, the Earth got taken over by the Decepticons. But Megatron comes back, and he gets this new body, and out of his old body, they chop up his old body into mini guns, and then just scatter his gun forms across humanity. And then when you buy a gun, a Megatron gun, and hold a Megatron gun, you sort of feel rage and anti-Cybertronian sentiment, because Megatron wants to show the Autobots that, hey, the humans hate you. You should probably give up on trying to be their friends. So he challenges Optimus Prime to a fight, and Optimus Prime and the Autobots go out to fight him outside of Albuquerque, I think. Smoke screen goes like, I saw them ahead, Prime, a little less than a mile and a half. Autobots, assemble! We go the rest of the way on foot, as they approach the Decepticons. All of you stay back. I don't want you to engage until we're certain what's going on here. And so he's like, Megatron. Ultra Magnus is held hostage with Soundwave pointing a gun in his head. Megatron's in his new body. I see you haven't changed. Put your arms down, Prime. You look like an oaf. I am impervious to whatever weapons you could possess. You are no threat to me, and Soundwave will kill Ultra Magnus if any of your Autobots attempt an ambush. Oh, here we go again. Do you see the city behind me, Prime? Of course. Is that what you're here for, to destroy it in front of me? Don't be an idiot, Prime. You'd only attempt to stop me, and I'd probably accidentally kill you. I can't have you dead yet. The city. There are 46 humans armed with weapons that can kill you almost as easily as I could. Weapons that were part of my old body. There are hundreds of such weapons all over this planet. You will never be able to find them all. You will never know where they are. But in the case... I hate this. But... You will never be able to find them all. You will never know where they are. But they are in the hands of these creatures that you are so desperate to protect. These, quote, innocent creatures that you are obsessed with. They will be your undoing. Meanwhile, Ultra Magnus is planning a tracking device on Soundwave. You know nothing of these people, Megatron. A few weapons in the hands of renegades means nothing. There is so much we can learn from this planet. Ha! Prime, you really are so predictable. I've missed you. The only thing you have to learn here, Prime, is how you have brought ruin to yourself and your Autobots. Is this how it always has to be, Megatron? We meet, you make empty pronouncements and threats, then we start punching each other. Has our situation still not evolved beyond this? Oh, absolutely, I have, Prime. Like I said, I'm not here to kill you. I've dumped your Autobots, wounded and incapacitated, inside that city 15 minutes ago. So I skipped a page here, but there's some wounded Autobots that Megatron dropped off in the middle of Albuquerque, and there's a lot of police soldiers who have Megatron guns, and they're about to kill them. Megatron says you could sit back and watch them die, or you could send your soldiers in on a rescue mission and make war on them. Of course, if you attack non-military personnel in their own cities, you will never be welcomed here. Of course, if you're so committed to learning from these humans, I'm sure you'll sit back and attend to this lesson. Spike, Campolongo, you need to get in there and find them. Good, send your pets off to tame their wild brothers. Jazz, you take them, you're the fastest. So Optimus Prime assigns 2 humans that have been working with him. They go out with Jazz to sort of help the captured Autobots. That ends up in a failure because Jazz ends up killing a human, but we're not here to talk about where that goes. You're right, Megatron. I won't pretend that I trust every human. And then there's a line where, but I trust Spike Witwicky, which is a mistake, because Spike Witwicky ends up being a jerk. But here you see the police officers with the Megatron guns, blah, blah, blah. I can feel their pulses quickening now. Their vile, damp hands tightening around the handles. Your men won't make it. It will be so satisfying seeing you've done in by these creatures you've tried so hard to protect. Of course, You wouldn't leave this kind of sabotage up to chance. You're in communications with these weapons. I have no doubt you're using them to confuse their owners and spread your malevolence. Oh, don't embarrass yourself, Prime. You think you can somehow distract me by firing on me? You can't possibly harm me. I know. And then he shoots straight through Soundwave's head. Just bam! It goes in one side and out the other. Just boom! And Soundwave goes down. So Soundwave's there with a smoldering face. Megatron's like, what? Excuse me? Now here's why I like this moment. I could field strip you like a rifle. I could crush your spark in my bare hands. So do it then. Pathetic. Prime, I lose one soldier, but you'll lose everything. And then Megatron flies off with Soundwave, ultimately showing that Soundwave needs immediate medical attention. When Megatron is put to the choice of saving Soundwave or killing Optimus Prime, he chooses to save Soundwave, which I think is really interesting and really shows that Megatron really does care for Soundwave. Now, Jazz ends up killing a human. Optimus Prime gets pissed off. Ultra Magnus has a tracking device on Soundwave, so Optimus Prime follows it. Optimus Prime loads himself up onto a really advanced C-130 type plane. Megatron brings Soundwave to Shockwave, and Shockwave's like, I don't know if I can fix this. And then Optimus Prime just dives, just jumps down, and just crashes in right into the warehouse the Decepticons are working out of. Just lands on top of the thing Soundwave had to be on. Just crashes in from the sky. Optimus Prime! And Shockwave immediately goes from, I don't think I can fix him, to, alright, I can definitely save him, but I really can't do it with Optimus Prime here. So if you could take him out of here. We can do this in here, but unless you want me to shoot another one of your men, I say we step outside. I can definitely save Soundwave, Megatron, but it's a delicate procedure, so maybe it's best if you left, man. Fine. Tell everyone else to stand down, but they can come and watch if they wish. This will be a historic day. So the Decepticons come out to watch Megatron beat the crap out of Prime, if you insist on carrying this charade to the end. We can't keep facing each other like this, Megatron. Something has to change. We certainly can't, Prime. Clearly you're here with some death wish, but I refuse to indulge you. I'm simply going to incapacitate you and leave you for the human authorities. It will be so much more satisfying to watch the humans of this world pick you and your Autobots apart like the swarm they are. They are so much more than that, Megatron. I see that weapon on your arm. A railgun? Yes, it doesn't even have to be fully charged to destroy one of the anthill cities on this planet, but it is fully charged. It's the first upgrade I've seen you make since we first tangled. Myself, I've used the same blaster for a millennia. But these humans, they advance. The weapons they have now outclass the ones they invented hardly 3 years ago. For instance, do you know what a kinetic harpoon is? And he shoots Megatron with some tracking information. Prime, what is this charade? You've proven to be a great disappointment since I've returned. Now hold still so I don't accidentally kill you when I blow your legs off. And then Optimus transforms into truck mode and just drives away. Prime, cowardice now? What has gotten into you? Astro Train, stop him. This has become an embarrassing farce. That wasn't useless. It was targeting and range information. What in... And you see something coming from the sky. When a solid object, like a Skywatch communication satellite, drops from orbit on a steep descent, it can reach speeds in excess of Mach 10. If aimed at a target, more energy is released on impact than a tactical nuclear weapon. Ballistic theorists call this a kinetic harpoon, the world's biggest gun. So Optimus Prime drops a satellite that's more powerful than a nuclear bomb onto Megatron with that targeting and range information. You see the Decepticons going flying. It's a beautiful moment. But then Optimus Prime, with all that force, goes tumbling down, transforms, moans, ugh. And then Megatron just walks out fine. I'll give you credit, Prime. I did not see that coming. And it actually did hurt. No. No. And then he slams his blaster so hard on Megatron it snaps in half. Why can't you ever die? And then Megatron just looks at him. And then off panel, Megatron beats the crap out of Optimus Prime into submission. And we go back to the Autobot base, which is Omega Supreme at this time. And then Spike's at the computers. Prowl, do you see this? Is that? No way. And then the defeated Optimus Prime is dropped off. I have brought Optimus Prime back to you. He is alive and needs only a little care to become fully functional again. I am also surrendering myself into your custody. And just that whole segment in Revenge of the Decepticons was just a roller coaster, from Optimus Prime shooting Soundwave straight through the face to Optimus Prime being so angry he just drops from the sky into his base. Shockwave saying, I don't think I can heal Soundwave, man, I'm too lazy. Then Optimus Prime comes and is like, okay, I can fix him if you just get him out of here. Optimus Prime dropping a nuke on Megatron and Megatron just walking out just fine. A frustrated Optimus snapping his own ion cannon in two, and then yelling, why don't you ever die? It's just a roller coaster. That was probably before Chaos Theory, probably the best well-written part of that era of Transformers comics. Let's see. What you guys talking about over here? Optimus Prime has the best looks in IDW? Yeah. Petition to rename the stream to IDW Epic Moments. Is this the part where Optimus shoots Soundwave? Yeah. Just do an animated Megatron voice? I don't think I can. Optimus looks in IDW are the best. Also, Soundwave has super hearing. When did he notice Magnus putting a tracker on him? Maybe. But he didn't. He's fine. Well, yeah, Shockwave said he could fix him. Also, why does Jazz always kill innocents? First blue streak, though, to be fair, that was made during the Dark Ages. It's explained that Jazz is a special ops person in the Autobots. He knows that he sees that when there's something that needs to be done, he'll do it, and he believed that the only thing to do was to kill the officer who was going to kill the Autobots, I believe. So, it's a tough situation Jazz was put in. Optimus and Megatronus. I know he is Megatron. I say it for ones. Okay. Awesome. Nice gun. I love IDW comics. They make a lot of comics. Omega. I did love this issue. Yeah, it really is good. That was funny. Do you think the Transformers reboot coming in a few months will be an improvement on Lost Light? Yeah, anything can be an improvement. Anything and everything is an improvement on Lost Light. Megatron the Bad A. What do you think of Hearts of Steel? Hearts of Steel was pretty good. Does IDW Comics working on other comics besides Transformers? Just asking. Well, G.I. Joe, yeah. We've been going through G.I. Joe moments in this too. And Micronauts. But they don't work on them. IDW publishes G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero. They publish Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think they do 30 Days Night or something like that. Just a lot of licensed stuff. My spaghetti getting cold. The House Always Wins is another really good moment. Tomax's speech to Erica Laten. I wish I liked to read comics, yeah. Let's see. To put this into context, Tomax Powley has been captured by G.I. Joe and is being stored in a facility in Las Vegas. It's a casino, but the casino is really just a front. Beyond, the staff-only sections is a G.I. Joe facility where they're storing Tomax. One of the people in the facility is Erica Laten, who used to be Tomax's lieutenant. She had a little relationship with Chuckles back in the day. This reminds me of Megatron's fight with Bludgeon in G2. Yeah, kinda. I never see OP do that with his gun. The tactical nuke, that's because he had it outfitted with that ability, like just before that scene. So at this point, Tomax is beginning his escape from... Oh, hey, I had spaghetti last night using jarred or sauce or homemade. I think homemade, but I don't know. Nice to meet you. I've never been in your live stream before. Well, welcome, welcome. So again, Tomax is escaping. This is part of a really good series called G.I. Joe: The Cobra Files that focuses on Erica Laten. But Tomax has been part of this whole operation. He's been in jail for like the whole series. This is the conclusion, the finale, where Tomax begins his escape and he visits Erica Laten one last time as he escapes. And this is just his monologue to her, his speech to her, that I really think is a great Tomax moment. We've been through so much together, you and I. In a very real way, you've been the most significant relationship I've had outside of family, of course. Though my brother Zammit ultimately became a person I didn't recognize anymore by the end, I admit it, he changed somehow. But you and I, we never change. You're still the same scared girl trying manfully to keep her head above the water. And the one man who never left you. So the running theme of this series was Erica trying to like be a good person. She was a Cobra agent. She was Tomax's second in command for a long time, or at least his lieutenant. But she decided to turn a new leaf after they killed Chuckles. Actually, she left before. After the whole Chuckles incident, she left and joined G.I. Joe, but she isn't trusted by anyone in G.I. Joe. So the whole series is her like trying to prove herself, and the conclusion is her facing Tomax finally. It's times like this I'd imagine you must wonder, with a rueful sense of injustice, why they put you in such a distant office on such an isolated floor that you can't even hear the gunfire marking the end of your residency. So this is it then? You're here to kill me? Oh, my sweet girl, no. I'm just here to talk. I'm trying to explain this to you. You were playing us all along. Well, certainly. That first plum I offered you, Billy. Billy's the son of the Cobra Commander, the original Cobra Commander. In the first arc, Tomax tells them where the son of the original Cobra Commander is, and they go to bring him into G.I. Joe. That first plum I offered you, Billy, the Cobra Commander's long-lost son, I poisoned that, of course, through back channels. You were never able to discover I contracted Blacklight to assassinate him. That whole plot involved them trying to save Billy from Blacklight. I also contacted Firefly to destroy his business headquarters and any information Billy might have hidden there. I admit, it didn't all go totally to plan, but nothing ever does. The two men didn't know they were working for me, and they nearly killed each other when their paths crossed by chance. Also, I didn't know Flint had found a way to backstop me, and that you had been alerted to the Alexandria location as well. That was the one smart thing Flint did. In hindsight, I see it must have been Major Blood, that weakling. And yet, it all worked out, didn't it? What little use Billy was to you ended up playing into my hands after all, and you managed to suffer another traumatic experience as a bonus. It's not really about having a plan at all. You see, it's about being able to adapt when that plan changes. That's what I do. I adapt. But really, I've been talking about me quite a bit. And this is actually about you, the Chameleon. Chameleon is Erica Laten's G.I. Joe codename. You adapt too. Oh, this is so boring, Tomax. You're just so boring. You come in here to gloat to me about what an evil genius you are, how we're all your puppets, then just as you think my righteous indignation is cresting, you play the hoary, you and me are just the same card. I don't listen to what you say, Tomax, and I don't believe you. You're scum, that's all. My mother abandoned me too, you know. Myself and my brother. Are you kidding me with this? Our father died when we were toddlers, and she sold us to the Unione Corse. She'd taken up with another man, and he didn't want to raise someone else's children. Tomax, really, are you losing your mind? Where are you going with this? You can't possibly expect me to sympathize. Sympathize? Miss Laten. That's the best thing that could have happened to me. Those men taught me to be ruthless. They burned the weakness out of me. They gave me the skills I used to succeed. And of course, my brother and I killed the man who sent us away. And our mother. I suppose you killed her too? No, we thought that would be quite gosh. I'm not sure how to pronounce that word. We just ensured she never had any comforts after that. A lifetime of poverty and toil. You know how it is. If you're trying to bore me to death, oh, come off it. Your faux disaffection. That's nothing more than what you must have wished on your mother for years of neglect and abandonment, and using you as a pawn in her petty games. Sympathize with me. It's I who have sympathy for you. At least I knew love. I had a brother I shared everything with. Who did you have? A semi-retarded groundskeeper? And then, at boarding school, a diary with a heart-shaped lock on it? Do you ever ask yourself why, after years of being cut off by your family, you jumped so eagerly at the chance to come to work with your half-sister? Erica Laten's half-sister is the Baroness. An absolutely horrible woman whom you've never even met before? Of course you do. You ask yourself that all the time. At night, in your empty room, you accuse yourself of that question. But I know the answer. I bet you do. You do know what your brother said to me that last time I saw him, that thing that made me run. It's not what they have on file here at G.I. Joe. I just told them what I thought would sound cleanest for my defection. Yeah, there's a scene where Erica is working with Cobra, then Zammit comes and whispers something to her, and then she runs. She leaves Cobra after that. In an earlier issue, she says that Zammit says that he's going to kill her once she's done with whatever mission she's going to be sent on. And so she runs, but that's not really what he said. He asked me to abandon the mission I was on and help him murder the Baroness and that horrible gypsy crystal ball. And you, your brother, this man you loved, was plotting to betray and murder you. Oh, I know that. And I've forgiven him. And here you are, sitting in judgment of me, and I've forgiven you too, Erica, Chameleon. I've forgiven you for leaving in all your betrayals. Because I know the one thing you never had in this life is love. I've had that, but you haven't. So, you see, we are not the same. You've never found a place to belong, and it has made you twisted and greedy. You seek it like a dying man seeks an oasis in a mirage, and will desperately drink the sand because he doesn't know the difference. I came to G.I. Joe because it suited my purposes. You came here because you thought they'd have you. But they won't have you. They don't trust you. You warned them that I would do this, and they didn't even trust you enough to listen to you about that. You're wrong. They do trust me. Who trusts you? These men who you've seduced? You play with them like toys, Erica. Eventually you'd have thrown them away, as you have so many others. They both realize that before the end. Or do you think it's the women who trust you? These strong, capable women who bark orders at while sitting behind your desk, emerging only so often for an anxiety attack and a savage, panicky murder? Do you see them coming to you for advice, respecting you as a superior? Firewall trusts me. Maybe she did, but she's dead. Just like everyone in this building is about to be, and even if you somehow survive it, G.I. Joe will never take you in again except to prison. Because you see, Erica, for all my maneuvering and all my manipulations, the one element of my plan I never had to worry about was you. You played your part perfectly, without any tinkering from me at all. Clock Spring, that poor, doomed fool. I had to get inside his head a bit, lead him down the path to his own destruction, but only after you put him on that path, as I knew you would. You're toxic, Erica. You poison everything around you. Well, if that's what you've come to tell me, you've wasted your breath, because I already knew that. I know you do, my dear, and that's not what I came to tell you. This building is going to be destroyed in a few minutes. Everyone in it is going to die. You can't save them even if you wanted to. You can only die with them. So you can stay here and do just that, or you could come and work for me again. I'd rather you didn't die here, Miss Laten, so I'm offering you your old job back. And then she spends a moment thinking about it. I can see into your heart, Erica, and it's empty. You can't ever fill it, and your attempts to do so have just piled more burdens onto your shoulders. You thought it would help being one of the good guys, but it doesn't, because you're not one of the good guys, and they know that, so they will never accept you. But I also see who you are, and I do accept you, so come with me. Come with me, and you won't have to die here. No, Tomax, I'm not going with you. You're vicious, and you're evil, and you're everything I reject. Maybe I haven't earned what I want, but I won't ever earn it by dishonoring it now. And if I see you again, I will kill you. I'm disappointed in you. You won't see me again. Do you ever ask yourself why, after years of being cut off by your family, you so... Actually, this is just a requote, but as the building is destroyed, you actually see her, like, each panel just walking out, even though there are other G.I. Joe agents looking for her. And she chooses to just abandon G.I. Joe and just walks away. And that's the end of the series, which is like one of the most downer endings possible. Again, the bad guys win. The thing with IDW G.I. Joe is that it really loves the shocking appeal of the bad guys winning. The thing is, when the bad guys win over and over, you're eventually not going to have any good guys left. And that's sort of what eventually happens with G.I. Joe. Eventually, the bad guy, Cobra, wins IDW. The first few phases of IDW's G.I. Joe. Cobra just wins. Alright. Nice to meet you. I have never been in your live stream before. Welcome, welcome. What are your favorite Transformers show? What are your favorite Transformers show? My favorite Transformers show is Transformers Prime. I've been watching your Transformers videos and they are awesome. 10 out of 10. Well, thank you. Do you think Bludgeon is the Transformer equivalent of the Joker, but instead of a clown aesthetic, it's a samurai one? No. Well, it depends on which Bludgeon. What is your favorite story in IDW for Transformers and G.I. Joe? I don't have a favorite one, but I'm listing off my favorite moments as we go with the stream. Was there ever a female Cobra Commander? There was a female Cobra Commander in feudal Japan who helped start the Yakuza, and then the Baroness became a Cobra Commander later on. Frag, I'm back. Welcome, welcome. So our next moment is something you guys might know best. Under Cold Blue Stars. The time rewind died. So, to put this into context, at this point in time, the Autobot-Decepticon war is over. The Autobots won-ish. A group of Autobots under the command of a man named Rodimus... chair started to fall. A group of Autobots under the command of Rodimus go out on this ship called the Lost Light with the goal of finding these mystical Cybertronians called the Knights of Cybertron. So... they're mostly Autobots on here, but there's also like one Decepticon. Well, Cyclonus was never a Decepticon. It's just Autobots on here and one non-aligned. So there's this Decepticon called Overlord, and Overlord is a dude. They call him a Phase Sixer. He's really powerful. His group are known for destroying entire planets. Overlord doesn't like Megatron because he felt Megatron disrespected him. So he's sort of a renegade. He's not really part of the Decepticons these days anymore at this point in time. But there was a storyline where the Transformers fought Overlord, and Overlord killed a lot of characters, but they eventually subdue him. The plot twist for this series, Transformers More Than Meets the Eye, is that Overlord is alive and kept in a secret chamber on the Lost Light, their ship. There's this Autobot called Chrome Dome, who's a Nemosurgeon. A Nemosurgeon's these dudes who can like have little needles come out of their fingers, and they plug in the needles into the back of your neck, and they can like read your mind and even take away memories or add memories. And so the Autobots had Chrome Dome doing some Nemosurgery onto Overlord to figure out how Overlord was made, because the Autobots are like, why isn't it the super powerful Transformers are all Decepticons? What do they have that we don't? So Chrome Dome's task was to find out to read Overlord's memory and find out what happened. As you can see here in this image, they failed. Overlord escaped and is now on the rampage throughout the Lost Light. Also, it's important to note that Chrome Dome is in a sort of relationship with a smaller Autobot named Rewind, who has this little camera on his head. He's this sort of archivist, and he's always recording stuff. But yeah, Under Cold Blue Stars is definitely a shining moment in the IDW continuity. You see, like, so many Autobots going against one Decepticon, and he's just thrashing them. But let's go to the bridge of the Lost Light 30 minutes earlier. This little Autobot named Pipe shows up and talks to Blaster, this red Autobot, because this red Autobot has supposedly made contact with Cybertron, or at least believes he had made contact with Cybertron. So Pipe says, I was just wondering if you had any luck getting the subspace communicator to work? Pipes, we're no closer to making contact with Cybertron than we were when you asked me this yesterday, or the day before. Okay, fine. Just checking. Having the old checkity check. Listen, it's movie night. Rewind's showing us his Lost Light documentary. Well, the rough cut, so I'm going to be busy for the next few hours. If you do make contact, can you pass a message on to Hubcap? We used to write each other all the time. Sure. It won't happen, but whatever. Fire away. Hubcap's an old friend of mine. Dear Hubcap, having a wonderful time. Made lots of new friends, like Blaster. Got a bit sick and got a bit shot, but apart from that, yeah, having a pretty wonderful time. Speak soon. Bye. And another epic installment is added to the great correspondence. I hope you're keeping all this stuff for future generations. Checkity check. That guy is such a shh. Enjoy the movie, Pipes. So Pipes transforms, goes down to watch the movie, and then runs into Overlord, who's been unleashed onto the ship. Overlord immediately raises his leg. Sorry, I stomp, and then another stomp. So here he is just chalking up random letters and numbers as he's dying. You see his life, thing going up and down in the background. And you hear his monologue as Overlord walks by. Can't speak, not good, can't speak, spark, falling out, and shrinking. Falling out and can't speak, shrinking. Wonderful time, made lots of speaks soon, can't speak, concentrate. Falling out and shrinking. Made lots of new friends, got a bit sick, and a bit shot, and then he hits the alarm button. Having a pretty wonderful time, bye. And then he dies as the alarm goes off. And you see him flatline in the background. So here you have Ratchet in the med bay. Ratchet's the Autobot medic. What do you mean, I don't know what the problem is? Chill out. Rodimus, the alarms don't just choose to go off. I've got patients in here. I need to know whether to put the meta bay into lockdown. And don't smirk. I can hear you smirking. All right. Keep your hands on. Ratchet's hands got removed and he has new hands in an earlier story arc. We're not under attack from the outside, and the bridge is still secure, so I'm thinking this is a false alarm. Drift's checking it out now. Hello? Ratchet? Keep your hands on! Do you realize how offensive that... Wait, and then Overlord comes out and is looming in the background. Ratchet turns around, shoots Overlord in the head, and then Drift comes in. Fair warning, Overlord. I'm going to do my level best to kill you. Drift's another Autobot who's friends with Ratchet. They, come together. The metabay, go, lock yourself, my faith will protect me. I was afraid you were going to say that. My faith in my sword, your faith, your sword, and your friend. We do this together. Rodimus, tool up and get down to the metabay. Bring everyone. And if anything happens to me, tell First Aid he's ready. Tell Whirl he can have my hands, and tell all my patients that they'll have to make new appointments. And so Rodimus comes in with a group of Autobots. Overlord! Drift! Ratchet! Amazing! You speak entirely in names. Shut up! Put him down! Put him down or what? Or this, says Ultra Magnus as he comes prowling through. Overlord? How? I don't know. He must have teleported on board or stowed away or I don't know. Got any regrets, Overlord? Because I do. Heck, I've got a list. And you're near the top. I should have gone with Garrus 9 with the Wreckers. That's when the Autobots last fought Overlord on when the Wreckers attacked him on the planet or in the prison. Garrus 9. Overlord killed a lot of people in that story. I should have sorted you out then. I've wondered if things would have played out differently had I been there. Guess I know now. Oh, guess I now know. And then Ultra Magnus fires his punch, but Overlord catches it. I'm sorry. What's the joke? You, Ultra Magnus. The joke is you. Everything about you, the self-importance, the sense of duty, the macho posturing, the macho posturing masquerading as guilt. You're the joke and the joke is you. But see, that's not why I'm laughing. I'm laughing because you've not been holding back. And I have. And then he stabs Ultra Magnus through with the sword. And then Rodimus is like, Magnus! And he goes, tear him apart! And the thing, the running thing is, everyone's fighting. Everyone's facing down Overlord as much as they can. uh, Rodimus runs in, heads up over, and then Overlord catches him by the throat. Lightweight. Chrome Dome, that's the Nemosurgeon who sort of accidentally unleashed Overlord onto the ship, comes up. Rewind? Because that's the one he's in love with. Chrome Dome, over here. I thought you were dead. You like finger drills? I wanted needles, but oh, I'm sorry. I meant to ask, any last words? Yeah, till all are one. And Chrome Dome had installed this weakness into Overlord, where if he hears the phrase till all are one, he starts to shut down. And then Fortress Maximus comes in and fights him. Fortress Maximus has a history with Overlord. So Fortress Maximus begins to pound on to Overlord. Let's see. Chrome Dome has a plan. Fortress Maximus, follow me downstairs and bring Overlord. Can you do that? Watch me. And so Fortress Maximus punches Overlord towards the cell. Now this cell is where they were keeping Overlord, and it's interesting because it actually slows down time. So if you get trapped inside the cell, it might take you like 5 seconds to just open the door and come back in. But because time slowed down, it might be 5 minutes from the outside world to see you open the door, because time moves slower inside the cell than it does outside. They punch Overlord down to the cell. Good work, Max. Now get out of there before he gets his bearings. Let's see. They're trying to close the cell door. You're angry. No, I'm past that. Rewind doesn't like Chrome Dome doing Nemosurgery because it drains his spark, and if Chrome Dome keeps using Nemosurgery, he dies. And, you know, since Rewind loves Chrome Dome, he doesn't want his lover to die. No, I'm past that. It's what I feel is worse than anger. In fact, I don't know what. I really don't know if I can forgive this. We'll finish this conversation later. We will, I promise. What are you even doing? Prowl modified Overlord's cell so that it could be attached to the hull of the ship. So if something can be attached, it can be detached. I'm initiating the ejection procedure, and then the cell door shuts, but it shuts on Drift's sword that got stuck in the door. The door's jammed! Close, you stupid piece of... it's not closing. It's stuck on the sword. If this door stays open, the cell stays where it is, and Overlord gets to go on another killing spree. So Rewind enters the cell to get the sword out of the way. Well, we can't have that, can we? What are you doing? Every shape serves a purpose, remember? Wait, if the door closes, you won't be able to get out. You don't know the security code. Don't do this. Please, please, please don't do this. And then Rewind pulls the sword out. The door shuts on Chrome Dome's hand or arm. Ejection sequence initiated. Ejection in T-5, 4. Listen to me. Look at me. I need to tell you something. Rewind I. But on the inside, Rewind can't hear him. 3. What? I can't hear you. 2. I'm sorry, Domi. I'm sorry things didn't work out. And then Rewind turns around and looks at Overlord. 1. And then cargo jettisoned. And so the slow cell comes on out. Now keep in mind that things are running slower in the cell, so like a second is like a minute. So in this time, Overlord is just beating the crap and tearing Rewind apart. Where are you going? And then Chrome Dome runs up to the guns. Out of my way! What are you doing? Rewind's trapped in there with Overlord. I'm doing the only thing I can do. Target locked. And so Chrome Dome opens fire on the cell and blows it up, thereby killing both his lover Rewind and Overlord. They'll explain... When this first issue came out, we don't know if Overlord killed Rewind in like the most painful way imaginable, or if Chrome Dome was able to stop that from happening by destroying the cell. It's later revealed that yes, in that time, Overlord was able to rip apart Rewind in the most terrible way imaginable, and then Chrome Dome opened fire on the cell. And then there's the shot of him laying there with blood dripping everywhere. But that's not it, because in the next issue they hold a funeral for Rewind, and Chrome Dome, being a Nemosurgeon, wants to wipe out his mind, because Chrome Dome has actually had several lovers before, and they've all died. And Chrome Dome can't take the grief of losing people he loves, so he uses his own Nemosurgery abilities to wipe out all memories of the person he loved. However, Rewind fired out a little USB stick before he got trapped into the cell. Chrome Dome gets the USB stick, plugs it in, and finds that Rewind left a message through all the different recordings he was taking. He cut it up into a proper message from different people saying different things throughout history. Your attention for a moment. This is Rewind, showing you edited footage from my database. I've probably got about 0.8 seconds before game over, so here, me out. I've always been terrified that you die before I did, because you and me... Hold up, do I not have... Okay, because you and me apart strikes me as intensely wrong. So promise me something. Be brave, be strong, and keep going without me. And another thing, no more injecting, it will kill you. And remember, and this is sort of happening while another event's going on in the comic that we won't get into, you deserve to be happy. The new Institute was the old you. Chrome Dome used to work for an Autobot organization called the New Institute where they'd wipe out the minds of Decepticons. You're a better person now, stubborn and frustrating, but wonderful. And to think I will never see you again. One more thing. One last thing. Because I don't say it enough. I love you. And then the recording ends. And then Chrome Dome puts the needles away. That was the moment that had me sold on More Than Meets the Eye. That was splendidly written. Let's see. Do you think Overlord was a good Decepticon in IDW? No. Who was the best Transformer writer for you? Probably Simon Furman. The Decepticon Justice Division do love kill Autobot, but they do like kill a lot of Decepticons. Yes, Pax Cobra is Overlord psychopath? Probably. Do you think the gay Transformer couples are weird? I thought Rewind and Chrome Dome was fine, but I thought they took it a bit far. Like everyone's in a gay relationship. Yes, by the end, everyone's in a gay relationship. And that's another example of bad writing. Rewind and Chrome Dome, done perfectly. Almost everyone else, Jesus Christ. We need to calm down, writers. Does the DJD had Overlord in the list, or he become the Decepticon Justice? Overlord is on the list. In fact, we'll get to that later. Because the Decepticon Justice Division do go after Overlord. Is Overlord the perfect cell of Transformers? I don't know who Perfect Cell is. Drift the Ex-Decepticon? Yes. Like Overlord is OP in the comics? Yes. Talala 1, that is Overlord weakness. Wow. Saying the Autobot speech? Wow. The Decepticon DJD are bad A. Ah, the good old days. What do you think of Lost Light issue 25? I think it was great. I think it was horrible. Our next moment is Ratchet and Pharma. We talked about Pharma at the beginning of the stream, the medic that turned evil. And then we have this little moment. At this point, Ratchet has been captured by Pharma, and he's just coming to. Ratchet! Ratchet! It's me, Pharma. Come on, I want to play a guessing game. Your face. Officially the very last thing I want to wake up to. Oh, tongue still sharper than a scalpel. And to think we used to be buddies. The Deltaran medical facility, remember? We were inseparable. Yeah, you hear that? It's the glorious sound of the past tense. It doesn't matter anyway. I've outgrown you. I've got a new best friend now. He found me sleeping in the snow and showed me how to work miracles. Calm down, Pharma, you're buzzing. I am now. And he shows that his hands are chainsaws since Ratchet took his hands. Your hands? What about my hands? They're stupid. Actually, they're very clever. They can turn into anything. They were a gift from one genius to another. Speaking of gifts, ta-da! Now, about that guessing game. And he has him play a little game of what's in the box. I'm done with this, Pharma. I give up, okay? But you haven't even had your first guess. I don't care what's in the box. Liar. You care. All you do is care. You care about everything and everyone. It's one of your more admirable weaknesses. Either show me or don't show me. I'm not playing. All right. I'll show you what's in the box. Ready? Behold! That's right, Ratchet. You're in the box, and it's Ratchet's body, because Ratchet's just a head attached to a spark and life support. Can you feel that? Can you feel the You feel the blade against your spark? Only you haven't screamed yet, which makes me wonder how accurately your nerve circuits are reporting the sensation. I'd hate for your brain to be misinformed. Can we talk? Pharma, can we talk? I like that. You and me, eh? You and me, talking into the night just like the old days. Happy to talk. Happy to listen to the panic in your voice. What's this about? Revenge? At first, I wanted to hurt you for ruining things at Delphi, but when you crashed, I saw that you'd stolen my hands. That took things to a whole new level. You declared war on my body, Ratchet. I'm retaliating. I was going to take my hands back while you were unconscious. I expect they'll be deep-wired and socket-locked, but that's fine. That's easy to work around, especially here. Oh yeah, because Luna 1 is made of magic, isn't it? If you cross your wires and wish hard enough, Primus will make all your dreams come true. Trust me, the only difference between Luna 1 and Luna 2 is the number. No, what makes this place special is the stuff Tyrus brought with him when he arrived. This Metabay, Ratchet, it's an embarrassment of riches. Every piece of avant-garde Cybertronian technology that Magnus has ever repossessed, it's all here. Stuff I've never even seen before. You always did like your instruments. But it's not just the instruments, it's the way they're played. A skilled musician can make sounds no one's ever heard before. Meaning that in here, in this Metabay, I can cure anything. I can do anything. Anything except remove a pair of hands. Come on, Pharma, the truth. Deep-wired, socket-locked, and still on my wrists. Why? Because I'm a doctor, not a bomb disposal expert. You think... Wait, you think I wired your hands, the ones attached to my body? You think I wired them to explode? I think it's a possibility, yes. Or maybe you're scared of failure. Maybe you're afraid you won't be able to pick the lock or loosen the wiring, so you want help. I get it, Pharma. It took me a while, but it makes sense now. I'm better than you. A better doctor, please. I overtook you years ago. I don't need my hands back to slap you down. Prove it. Put me back in my body and prove it. A race to fix the same injury. The better surgeon wins the hands. And so, Pharma agrees to that competition. How long was I out? Long enough for me to set things up. First aid, Ambulon, and these are 2 Autobot medics. I had them delivered. Thought we'd make this a bit of a reunion. What's going on, Ratchet? Pharma said this was your idea. Pharma, no, this isn't what I had in mind. No? How did you think this would work? You thought I'd grab some worthless Decepticons and we'd go from there? I am begging you. Relax, I'll just slice them in half. Nothing fancy, and we'll see who can stitch them back together the fastest. Take your hands back, please. You're the better doctor. You deserve them. I'll remove one, and you can remove the other. What do you say? Are we good? You fix Ambulon. I'll fix first aid. But this is happening, Ratchet. Play along or I'll get Tyrus to cut the Lost Light in half. Crew and all. And so... Listen, both of you. You're just gonna have to roll with this, okay? I'm sorry. You're gonna let Dr. DJD cut us in half? If you reroute your nerve circuits away from your waist, it'll minimize the pain. I can do this. I can put you back together. It's an easy fix, don't worry. The waist? Who said anything about the waist? You said you were going to cut them in half. Yes. Lengthways, and then he chops Ambulon in half lengthways, which, by the way, a Cybertronian can't survive, so there's no way for Ratchet to fix him. So they just kill off Ambulon. I think the death of Ambulon is definitely a memorable moment, just chopping the dude in half. You said you'd cut him in half. Yes, lengthways. Boom. Let's see. Alright, not much going on in the chat. Let's see, we brought up, is Overlord on the DJD list? Yes. And that brings us to Slaughterhouse. At the very beginning of this series, the Lost Light took off from space, and their quantum engines, when they were trying to do a warp, messed up. The thing with quantum engines is they kind of play with the rules of physics, so when the engines blew up, it actually created 2 Lost Lights. One Lost Light that had the crew we were following, and another Lost Light that had the same people who were on the ship, including another Overlord on it. just out in space. Brutal. Yes, that was brutal. So there are 2 lost lights, but one day the lost light we had been following finds the other lost light that was accidentally made through the quantum error, and they find that it was completely destroyed. So they realize that there's this whole second lost light out there doing its own lost light things, and they find that this lost light, the only survivor on this light, because everyone is dead on this lost light. Everyone's dead. They find like bodies with transformation cogs ripped out. Everyone's been ripped apart, except for this lost light's Rewind. He is alive because he was hiding. And so the Rewind tells them the story of what happened to this lost light. And that was the Decepticon Justice Division arrived and ripped everyone apart and killed everyone except for Rewind. Because the lost light has Overlord on it. And Overlord, being a traitor, is on the Decepticon Justice Division's list. The Decepticon Justice Division are a group of super powerful Decepticons that hunt down Decepticons that betray the Decepticon cause. They also tear apart any Autobots that happen to stand in their way. They kill everyone. So Rewind's telling the story how everyone's dead but him, and Nightbeat, the detective Autobot, says, "So, everyone died except you? If you're suggesting I'm the one who betrayed the crew, no, God no, not at all." They wanted a souvenir. And then we flash back to the Decepticon Justice Division killing everyone. I don't know how they knew. Maybe I cried out his name, but they said they let Chrome Dome live if I filmed everything they did. By then, when they'd finished killing the rest of the crew, they had a better idea. They knew Chrome Dome was a nemosurgeon. They told him they'd only spare me if he erased me from his memory. He refused. I begged him, but he refused. So Voss, this Decepticon Justice Division guy, snapped off his finger needles and we see stabbed the needles into his eyes and killed Chrome Dome. I ran the second he stopped screaming. I ran and hid in the Magnus armor. I must have passed out. So that's the story of the Decepticon Justice Division find Overlord and kill him because it's a quantum duplicate, and they kill everyone in the Lost Light except for this Rewind, which, if you remember from last time, Rewind died on the other Lost Light. So, let's see. So eventually, Chrome Dome pops up, and this Autobot is like, there's Chrome Dome now. What do we tell him? Don't worry, I know how to play this. And he gives them these magnet clamps, which allows them to like walk on ships while they're in space. No questions. Just go outside. Outside as in no questions. Just take these magnet clamps and go on the roof. And so, we see on the roof is the Rewind from the other Lost Light, sitting there depressed because his lover is dead, everyone he knew is dead. Someone's waiting for you. Then Chrome Dome comes out to the top of the ship, just looks and sees Rewind. Rewind looks up at him. The two just sit beside each other. And then there's this beautiful moment of just this panel composition of the two just sitting there. The next panel, Chrome Dome looking over at Rewind. The next panel, Rewind looking at Chrome Dome. And then they just get closer together. Then Rewind leans on Chrome Dome, and Chrome Dome puts his hand around Rewind. And that's the end of that thing. They're technically two different quantum duplicates. Like, Chrome Dome lost his Rewind, Rewind lost his Chrome Dome. But now they found each other, so... And their meeting is just completely silent. It was definitely one of the strongest parts of More Than Meets the Eye. Brutal, the absolute unit. Han. Why are the Decepticons so powerful? Those particular Decepticons are so powerful because they have their endoskeletons laced with a special element called Unicron or something like that. And they're also born with a super powerful spark that's in 0.1% of the population of Cybertronians. Optimus Prime and Ultra Magnus are examples of Autobots who have the 0.1% spark, but like the Decepticon Justice Division and Overlord have the 0.1% spark, and then their exoskeletons are laced with Unicron. Let's see. Next up, we have the Snake Eyes Storm Shadow battle. And the Snake Eyes Storm Shadow battle, throughout the entire G.I. Joe portion of the IDW universe, Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, two different ninjas of the Arashikage clan, had been sort of at war with each other. And then it had been building up to their final confrontation for years. I'm not gonna go through like most of these pages because their fight is awesome. The art's beautiful. Also, Snake Eyes is an agent of Cobra at this time. A long story. But, you know, they fight each other and it's a great fight. And let me see if I can find the grenade. The art is really one of my personal favorites. Wheelwind X Crom Dom. Jesus Christ. Eventually, Storm Shadow gets stuck onto a tree. And, Snake Eyes approaches him. Storm Shadow pulls a grenade from Snake Eyes' belt. And then the other characters are like, that sounded like a grenade going off. The implication is that they both died. But then Snake Eyes shows up pretty wounded. But it's definitely implied that Storm Shadow took a grenade to close. It was a great conclusion to the Snake Eyes Storm Shadow rivalry. And then the last panel of the comic is Snake Eyes returning to Cobra. And that was the end of the miniseries. That miniseries was Snake Eyes working for Cobra, and, you know, you would think that, hey, he's actually a G.I. Joe dude, he's going to betray Cobra. Nope, it ends with him still in Cobra. But the point is, the Snake Eyes Storm Shadow fight is one of the best fights in IDW. Too bad in 2018 they messed it up by saying, hey, Storm Shadow actually lived! Haha! Because how could you not survive a grenade at close combat range? '18 was a mistake. Alright. Goodbye, Little One is what I have this title. This is also in More Than Meets the Eye. Tailgate is a little helpless blue little robot. He is sort of in a pseudo-relationship with a Cybertronian called Cyclonus, who is sort of dark and brooding, even though Tailgate's this chibi little happy dude. But there's another Autobot named Getaway, who you see here, who seems to be forming a love triangle, because it seems Getaway likes Tailgate. Some context, Megatron is an Autobot at this point in time and is a member of the Lost Light, this ship. He's a co-captain of the Lost Light, to be exact. It's a long story why Megatron became an Autobot, we won't get into that, but he's trying to amend for his sins. So Megatron's on the Lost Light, but as you can imagine, the Autobots don't actually like having to take orders from Megatron after the war, after so many of their friends died. So, Getaway is actually part of this faction that wants Megatron removed. And he's actually trying to get Tailgate to do it. In fact, he's setting up a plan where Megatron will kill Tailgate, so everyone will turn against Megatron, and then they'll kill Megatron. So he's trying to get Megatron to kill Tailgate by making Tailgate try to perform Nemo-surgery on Megatron. I believe the story explains itself better than I can. So, Getaway's trying to explain to Tailgate how Conjux Endura works. Conjux Endura is the term for Transformer relationships, and there's sort of a ritual that goes with it. Okay, so first you have to go somewhere familiar, a place which holds shared memories, somewhere you feel safe. Like the Lost Light? Yes, or Visages. That's a bar. The ritual begins with the act of intimacy, which is usually symbolized by sustained physical contact. Next is the act of disclosure. The person initiating the ritual reveals something intensely personal, something which puts them in a less than flattering light. Except my brain clearly didn't know what the heck it was talking about. It was a declaration of weakness and therefore trust. An Act 3, the act of preference. Of what? Gift giving. Oh, and the fourth? Is where the respondent comes in. The fourth is the most important. Without the fourth, I've just described a memorable evening out. Act 4 is the act of devotion. If the respondent is willing, if they want to become a Conjux Endura, they have to prove it. They have to do something spectacular to demonstrate their love Yes. What do you want me to do? So Tailgate thinks Getaway wants to enter a relationship with him, and he's like, okay, what do you want me to do? And, Getaway gifted him with these nemo-surgery needles. So what do you want me to do? Meanwhile, Cyclonus, who kind of has a crush on Tailgate, I guess, visits Whirl. He knocks on his door. Friend or foe? You tell me. Click. You? Sorry about the mess. What mess? No, but that's what people say in these situations, isn't it? Come in. Sorry about the mess. How was your trip? What brings you here at this hour? I don't know. I've never entertained before. How am I doing so far? Did you make these? Why so many? Because I kept making mistakes. They all look the same to me. What do you want anyway? You're annoying me. I want to talk to you about Tailgate. So Cyclonus is there for emotional talks, and Whirl realizes that Cyclonus has feelings for Tailgate. Whirl is in on this plan to get Tailgate killed so that people will turn against Megatron. And after hearing how Cyclonus feels about Tailgate, Whirl's like, maybe we shouldn't just have Tailgate killed. So he meets up with the anti-Megatron circle. I've never experienced them before, so I can't say for certain, but it feels like I'm having second thoughts. Are you serious? A rethink, it's all I'm suggesting. Oh my god, you are serious. I just don't think that you actually, because hey, let's be frank, it was pretty much your idea in the first place. I just don't think you should use Tailgate as a weapon. We wouldn't be in this situation if you know how to pick a fight. Whirl fought Megatron earlier in the series and couldn't kill him. Screw you, Atomizer. It wasn't my fault he didn't bite. No, there's no rethink. Not when I've spent so much time grooming him. Besides, the trap's already sprung. You want me to sneak into Megatron's room and brainwash him? It's called shadow play, and it's simple. I've disabled the lock on his door, so all you need to do is walk in when he's recharging and inject him. And then what? I'm not a nemo-surgeon like Chrome Dome or Scalp. They're experts. The needles will do all the work. I've laced them with a special anti-villain virus. But I thought shadow play was wrong. This is different. All the virus would be doing is very carefully, very painlessly removing Megatron's evil thoughts. His evil thoughts, all the things that make him bad. Which obviously this is a lie. It's just Tailgate's a child, so he doesn't understand that this is a lie. See, he's trying to be good, but you've got to ask yourself, can someone like him really change? And if he can, and if he really wants to, haven't we got a duty to help him? To make sure he stays changed? I guess so. If we don't intervene, he'll relapse, and when he does, my god, Scout, he'll kill everyone. And there are people on this ship I care about. There are people on this ship I love. What about Ravage? Ravage is sort of a cat, a Decepticon cat, who also is sort of like a spy on the behalf of Megatron. Once you're inside, use this to sweep the room. You saw how it works, right? This button here. If you detect Ravage, make your excuses and leave. Go on, take it. I'll wait for you. You want me to do it now? Now is perfect. He recharges at the same time every week, which means he's recharging as we speak. Right, okay, only I'm a bit scared. I'm terrified. There's no way I could do what you're about to do. You know Corcaspia? That was Megatron. He did that. I landed just in time to watch him murder my friends. I didn't run from the battle, Scout. I ran from him. But look, there's no shame in surrendering to your limitations. Even the best of us fail. If you really don't feel brave enough to do this, just say, I'm not the bot you thought I was, and we'll forget this whole conversation. All of it? Well, I mean, we'd have to start the 4 acts again, if we still wanted to do that, and if we did, I'm sure there are other ways you could demonstrate your devotion, although none that would impress Cyclonus as much as saving the entire crew from Megatron. Room 113, isn't it? And when I get back, I deserve one heck of a bump. He set off about 10 minutes ago. What, you mean he's doing it now? Relax, it'll all go to plan and it'll all be worth it. I've disabled the Ravage detector, so he'll assume the coast is clear even if it's not. When he stabs Megatron in the neck, well, it doesn't matter that the needles are fake as long as our resident nemophobe thinks he's being mind-hacked. He'll kill him. You know that, right? He'll wake him up and beat him to death. And then Tailgate's outside the room. Come on, Tailgate. You can do this. You can do this. You can do this. You can do this. Hey, I don't like sending him into the devil's den, but I don't like when a filthy fascist scumbag murderer getting an Autobot badge and a pat on the back from high command. Once Megatron retaliates, one of two things will happen. Either security will catch him mid-dismemberment and shoot him dead, God knows they're jumpy enough, or he'll get sent back to Cybertron, where he'll be imprisoned, maybe even put to death for murdering a poor little minibot. Justice will belatedly be done, and we can all press ahead. Yeah, no, I get the theory. It's the execution that bothers me. Tailgate's execution. And then Atomizer points a gun at his head. Okay, well, it's good that we had this chat, and I'm sorry. Now you've lost your nerve. I've been racking my brain for a reason to keep you around, and I'm afraid I've drawn a blank. And they shoot him in the back of the head. My nudge gun, remember? Took me ages to find it again. Here's what's about to happen. You're gonna pass out, and when you wake up, you'll have forgotten. It's a memory gun, by the way. You'll have forgotten you were ever part of this little operation. So while I applaud your efforts to escape, they're very much in vain. Not even the mighty nut job can outrun the thought bullet. That's what Tailgate calls you, by the way. We laugh about it. Hello? Forget it. His mind's elsewhere. However, he's projecting his hollow matter avatar. Cybertronians, when they turn into vehicles, they're still not really robots in disguise when you see a vehicle driving around without anyone driving it. So Cybertronians have what are called hollow matter avatars. Holograms that you can touch that sort of serve as a driver. World gets shot down, but he sends his hollow matter avatar out to try to find Cyclonus. Meanwhile, Tailgate's entering Megatron's room. Cyclonus is brooding, but then he sees World's hollow matter avatar out in space, which causes Cyclonus to run over to where he is. He runs in. What was that all about? Eh? You have just appeared outside my... Shh, leave me alone. I've got a headache. I'm not receiving visitors today. What are you talking about? I was only in here a few minutes ago. And he sees all the clocks are set to room 113. So Tailgate enters Megatron's room. Ravage notices him coming in. Cyclonus is running to try to stop Tailgate. Tailgate approaches Megatron with the needles. Ravage cries out, Megatron! Megatron wakes up. Megatron lashes out, grabs Tailgate by the face. It looks like the plan's coming that Megatron will kill him, but then Cyclonus throws a sword into his chest, kicks out Ravage, rips apart the recharging chamber, smashes it down onto Megatron, and reaches out for Tailgate, quickly. Are you alright? I'm not sure what were you doing in there? It's Getaway. There's this anti-villain virus, and I agreed to... Oh, what virus? An anti-villain virus. Oh god, I think you've just been set up. Where are we going? Away. But we like it here. We just attacked Megatron. Right now, all we care about is distance. And then the alarms begin to go off. Darn it. Have you ever heard of the 4 acts? For pity's sake, Tailgate, the alarm just... But have you heard of them? Why? Why are you asking me this now? You're right, it's okay. It can wait, and then they're flashing back to previous parts in the comic where Cyclonus did the 4 acts, pretty much. They're trying to escape, but then a shot goes by. Stop! And then the guards show up. All the doors are sealed. No one's going anywhere, so how about you turn around slowly? And so Cyclonus turns around, reaches for the sword. He's reaching! Fire! And they all open fire. Cyclonus puts Tailgate between him and the weapons, and then just holds him as the weapons, attack him. And he just says, goodbye, little one, and then falls down. Hold fire. Is he dead? And that actually would be a good ending. But then you have Tailgate looking at Cyclonus and like, Cyclonus? Cyclonus? And there's this freaking Super Saiyan thing, and then there's rainbows pop out everywhere. That was kind of weird. But that... I really like the, just the art, really, with the whole goodbye little one scene. That was really well done. Storm Shadow. Any word on Lob? What's Lob? Storm Shadow, no. Ratchet Brave as always. What the heck is with all this love crap? I want to see robots fight. This is crap heck gay. What is a bomb? Bomb is a thing where Getaway just likes to, it's sort of like a bro fist. He just says bomb while he does it. Where do you think is the stopping point for IDW? What are you talking about? IDW's over. It ended. This moment's just a brief moment. Ravage dies, and Soundwave, who is across the universe, because Ravage is another one of Soundwave's cassettes, like Rumble. Ravage dies during More Than Meets the Eye, and then Soundwave just has this... he just senses it. You know, look at that expression. This panel almost made me cry just to see Soundwave across the universe just feel his little cats dying. Next up, we have Dr. X and Action Man. Now, Dr. X... Action Man is sort of a parody of James Bond, that sort of deal. They're all English agents. Where it stopped be good, I mean. Oh no, IDW ended terribly. It was terribly written. So Action Man is this dude who works for the Action Man program. It's sort of, 007 James Bond protecting England's type stuff. Action Man was a thing created sort of as an answer to G.I. Joe, even though G.I. Joe came second, but whatever. And Ian Noble is Action Man in this case. And here are his fellow agents, Mercy Gale and Agent Sammons, I believe his name is. Now, they're talking about Dr. X, blah, blah, blah. There's a hard drive. I forget the setup for this. But ultimately, the reveal is, after Mercy Gale shoots down one of their fellow agents, that she was Dr. X the whole time. Now, Dr. X... I do not believe that Dr. X is evil. Like, the story keeps framing her as a villain, but she never does anything bad in the IDW universe. It's interesting. But just the monologue between two friends, one of them turns out to be a terrorist. I really like, their little dialogue. They'll come looking for me. Director Betsley and Bryce, even if they haven't killed one another, they certainly aren't listening to you or tracking you. I'm jamming every device in your uniform. Just, why, Mercy? Why are you doing this? I wanted to be a good agent, Ian. Killing Sammons is a heck of a way to show it. That wasn't the plan. And they settle down. And then she gives her origin. I'd started out a loyal agent of the Crown, recruited by M16 after graduation, or MI6, I don't know. Transferred to the Action Man program before I was 30. I was running intel within a year. It only took a few months to see the real problem. You're going off point. You killed Sammons and, oh my god, you killed Action Man. You killed Agent Brogan. Ian is the second Action Man after, well, there have been several Action Mans throughout history, but he recently replaced another Action Man. No, Ian, I'd never. Okay, why isn't this showing anything? Alright, let me add this image back. I don't know why it's gone. Pictures, IDW moments, Dr. X. There we go. Put her down over there by the beach. It's all snow, Agent Gale. The beech tree, Ian. It's dumb, but I'll miss that. Your silly puns. It'll be tough to kid after you kill me. I hope we don't come to it. I sent your predecessor on a mission. I tracked a missing chemical compound and deduced Dr. X had it. He was using the chemical to mutate students at a college up north. Action Man descended from low orbit with a jump pack, smashed through the roof, and went hand-to-hand against 1,500 toxic mutants. Run-of-the-mill stuff. Agent Brogan put the mutants out of commission, and Professor Sinclair figured out a way to decontaminate them. 0 fatalities. But the waste, the effort, the resources Dr. X put behind this were mind-boggling. And all my work, nights poring over shipping manifest, spectrograph readings, hundreds of pages of interrogation transcript. To what end? To break even? To be only as well off as the night before. Better than 1,500 students dead, and maybe I would have left it alone if not for what I found. It was luck, dumb blind luck. 30 years of searching and planning came to nothing. But when Action Man disengaged the jump pack and just happened to hit the right piece of junk that fell just the right way, Dr. X was dead. I ran a genetic scan. We had his genome back from the clone thing in Bangladesh. It was him. By pure chance it was him. And nobody knew but me. If I told Director Kane what happened, we'd have a nice victory celebration. But then what? There's always something else. Cobra, Baron Ironblood, the Machination, the Coil. Cobra, you know what Cobra is. Baron Ironblood really hadn't been seen before this comic. The Machination were a group of humans who were taking apart Sunstreaker and creating headmasters, and who were led by Scorponok, and the Coil was a group of, it was Cobra religious fanatics. The same scenario repeats with all of them. They make a move, we counter it ad infinitum. A zero-sum game, but everybody believed X was dead except the person in charge of countering him. Well, maybe I could accomplish real change. The mutagen was right there. In the right dose, it would literally unravel his DNA. Nobody on our side would know who died. And nobody on their side knew who the doctor really was. So when his lieutenants called, I answered. I sent them where I needed them, and gave intel to Action Man to lead where I needed him. Can I get a coat too? Huh, no, worth a try. So you played both sides? On behalf of the world. When the Cybertronians invaded, London fared quite better than New York or Beijing. England prevails, Mr. Noble. And this is what... Dr. X, Mercy Gale has done more good than bad, because if she spared the United Kingdom, and it's true, the United Kingdom did not get invaded by Cybertronians during All Hail Megatron. If she saved the United Kingdom from the Decepticons, she's saved more people than she's put in danger. And Action Man, Brogan, he didn't know. He thought he was doing good, and ultimately, he was. It all went wrong under the Thames. Dr. X's, my agent stole the antimatter generator. I'd have an interplanetary propulsion system, putting me in rather exclusive company of the US and China. So you weren't trying to destroy the world. Hardly. But when I snuck in, oh God, I screwed up your plan. You couldn't have known. Somebody panicked and did something they shouldn't have, and the reactor went into overdrive. The world nearly ended, not because of Dr. X, but because an Action Man died. No, Ian, Action Man was born. Brogan was the most honorable, decent man I've ever known. He had no place in my world. But you, Ian? Jesus, you need to work on your sales pitches. You're gonna Vader me, aren't you? 1, 2, 3... I'm not your father, if that's what you mean. It is not. 4, 5, 6 spaces. We can work together, Action Man. And Dr. X. Has a certain ring to it. Why now? Why tell me everything? You could have just kept me going. The Guernsey location contained sensitive information, remember? It was an OS codex. Operational support? Of the American CIA. Yeah, the American CIA of the CIA, yes. Brogan made a copy when he saved their president from that duplicate a few years ago. The codex was a contingency. One can never be too careful, even with close allies, so I've heard. So this is like the United Kingdom, preparing to go to war with the United States. Anyway, the codex was quite above my clearance, but once I uncovered its location... Fake insurgents. Mean I get in and grab it. Okay, what was the deal with the chateau? You met the professor. He data mined IP addresses from American intelligence agents. Blunt and graceless. Barely a step beyond a teenager in a Guy Fawkes mask. But combined with the codex, I could potentially unlock every secret communique from our cousins. God, the access to alien technology alone, it's too much for them to have. It should belong to the world, or at least to me. You were just supposed to pick it up. And I really like how Action Man develops the world. The fact that G.I. Joe and Transformers pretty much only happens in America. So America has all the alien technology while the United Kingdom is sort of just left out in the cold. And so the British are trying to do something. The chateau was compromised in general. It was too big a target. Here was an opportunity to give you a win and get me the data. My scientists would clear out the moment you were gone and burn the place before Salmons and I landed. No one was to have died, Ian. What about Bryce? Well, he had been the reason convicted of... He would have been convicted of treason, but we're not Texas. He'll survive, technically. Huh. But then it turns out the guy minding the door dated the guy I was pretending to be, and here we are. I guess the moral is true love does conquer all. Wathoom. Agent Gale died in the VTOL explosion. The question is, did you? Is that the question, Mercy? It struck me you've never been able to tell anybody this. So if I let you start talking, you'll never want to stop. Your training will go out the window because it's just little old Ian you're talking to. Ian in over his head, not living up to the action man you actually liked, Noble. Salmons, though, he was hard on me. I thought it was resentment or hatred or for a couple of days I thought he was a traitor. But that's not it. It was respect. But you always wanted to protect me because you underestimate me. What? So you didn't notice how low I flew. Didn't notice I picked up a passenger. And you know what they say, Agent Gale? Well, not that one. Salmons always swim upstream. That's awful, Ian. And then they just begin this fight. But really the point is, Dr. X really did nothing wrong. She saved the United Kingdom from the Decepticons. She managed, from a British perspective, she's trying to put the United Kingdom on the same level as like America and China with Cybertronian technology and other alien technology, stuff like that. Mercy tries to escape. Action Man grabs on, and then they fly up to her ship, which literally has a skull. It has a literal skull, but I continue to abide by the fact that she does nothing wrong. They go up and see that she's teamed up with the Red Shadows, the remainder of the M.A.S.K clan. There's a new Storm Shadow that's a female. Mercy still doesn't want Ian to be hurt. It's just, the writers really tried to sell Mercy as a bad guy. Mercy did nothing wrong. Can I get a hashtag Mercy did nothing wrong up in the chat? Because she really never did anything wrong. Let's see. Rip Ravage? Yeah. I remember the Action Man show. I never watched the Action Man show. I like the Action Man comic. Yeah. Why didn't you mention Rom? Why would I mention Rom? Alright, we just have two brief moments more. The one where Karza just defeated the entire Hasbro universe. Karza has masked vehicles deactivated. G.I. Joe is on a mission. Hashtag Mercy did nothing wrong, exactly. G.I. Joe's on a mission to fight some dire wraiths. And as they manage to beat the dire wraiths, I think. But then they get attacked by a Micronauts ship that sends all the G.I. Joe agents tumbling down. Yes, by the way, Skywarp's a member of G.I. Joe at this time. Skywarp saying, "Yo, Joe." And then the Autobots going to Monument Valley before, trying to investigate something, but then they fall under attack by... Where is it? Yeah, Jasko gets sent flying off screen and sees that Baron Karza merged with Micronus Prime. So now Karza is like a Cybertron for a moment. The beginning of Micronauts' Wrath of Karza is interesting because it lets a dude who's typically like 2 inches tall wipe out M.A.S.K, G.I. Joe, and the Autobots. It's an interesting moment. I always remember that moment. And the last one, the death of Blur. Unicron is destroying Cybertron at this time. The Transformers are freaking out. Did I get the wrong images? Yeah. Okay, here we go. So Blur is the fastest Cybertronian alive. He moves really fast. I did a video on him talking about how he joined the Autobots, how he was an arrogant racer who didn't care about anyone but himself. But then Optimus Prime convinced him to become a good person. These days, he's running a bar on Cybertron, but now Unicron's destroying Cybertron. There's an energy wave of teleportation of some Cybertronians who couldn't get to Earth. The Cybertronians are pulling out to Earth because Cybertron's a lost cause, but not everyone can be teleported away. During a spare moment, there's a chance for them to teleport away, so Blur runs out there and throws them into the energy beam. I was at my bar when the world ended. I hadn't been paying much attention to this Unicron situation, or whatever Optimus was calling it. It was just the latest crisis in crises past. Like I said, I had my bar to worry about. I'd worked my whole life for this place. Then I saw the thing. I'm the fastest Cybertronian alive. And here's a fun fact. At full speed, my mind works faster than any other Cybertronians. Don't tell Prowl. I spotted the ribbon of Visionary's magic, making everybody it touched disappear. I figured wherever they were going had to be better than here. Problem was, not everyone was going to make it. Not without help, anyway. For an instant, I was worried. What if the magic was just disintegrating? What if the magic was just disintegrating everybody? But it's like what Soundwave was always saying after 3 or 4 NGEX cocktails. You have to take some things on faith. I saved everybody. I almost made it myself. But here's another fun fact. Even the fastest Cybertronian isn't that fast. And so Blur dies, blowing up on Cybertron as Unicron destroys it. And all this is just a ripoff of Flash from Crisis on Infinite Earths. Let's see. We got a good hashtag Mercy did nothing wrong. Yo Joe, rip Blu-ray. Can't help but remind me of Barry Allen's Sacrifice in Crisis on Infinite. Yeah, it's exactly a ripoff of Crisis on Infinite Earths. Rip Blu-ray. So, that's what I got for you guys. Those were my favorite moments. Well, some of my favorite moments. I didn't get all what I wanted in. But some of my favorite moments from the IDW comics. I thought with the new year, we'd take a moment to remember IDW as it was. And not how it ended, even though that last one was from how it ended. That was like the only good part of Unicron. Still eating spaghetti. Let me check how we're doing on the views. 7, that's still pretty high. Maybe I should stream more often. Good stream. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. Alright, I don't want to leave this stream on this channel. I'm not sure if I want to move it to Radix Repository or Commander's Cabin. So, I leave a like. Well, thank you very much. So, I want to pull the chat. What do you guys think? Should this go on to Commander's Cabin or should it go on to Radix Repository? Let me know, because this kind of has more substance than typical Radix Repository. Well, that's not true. It could go on Radix Repository. I don't know, I asked the question, so I'll wait for an answer. If you guys, because it's not staying on this channel. But yeah. Those were some moments. Let me try to finish this spaghetti. Commander Caban. Sorry if I said it wrong. Alright. Okay, I guess we'll try to put on Commander's Cabin. It needs an upload anyway. Till all are one, yes. So thank you guys so much for coming. I probably might do more streams. They're certainly not going to be Transformers related, but I might do chill streams. I used to do chill streams back in the day. I'll try that. I might do chill streams more often. What do you think about the IDW Transformers book with the solicits out? I'm hesitantly optimistic. I don't like the part where it says that like there are both organics and Cybertronians living on Cybertron, but we'll just have to see how it actually pans out. Cabin. Alright. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to Twisted Ambition for the $1 super chat. And yeah, have a good day, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I need? I need something like an ending card. so you guys can catch up with your last comments before it shuts down. I'll look into that for future, like, chill streams. But yeah, see you guys around.